Alrighty. Hello guys. How's it going? I'm here. Sorry about the delay. I'm glad we can wait together daily here. I don't know what I would do without this. Oh shit. Here we go. Log in. Yeah, not just yet. I guess we have roughly 1 week to go until we log in. Successfully. Is there RF in PoE 2? There will be, they said, but it is also going to be changed, but we don't know any details, and it's not on the early access launch, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. How dare you trying to say D4 anything like PoE? D4 bad. What did I say? I'm not sure what you mean exactly right now, but yeah, I won us on a PoE hype train at least, so it's gonna be cool. Mercs, Revise, Pitback again. Yes, let's go, Holy See. I actually wanted to try to put together some more like skill setups that I'm thinking about. So I guess we'll see. We have the skill planner. Is it this one? Oh no, this is the passive planner. Let's open some links here, I guess. This one. So here's the this actually saves whatever is the last thing you watched. This is actually, I think, Danger's build that he linked to me yesterday with the ball lighting stuff. 6 more hours. Or not in 6 hours? Oh, thanks for the prime, by the way. Busty. And is a spin cry earlier, if you're here, thank you. Some creators are about to go very dark for 3 hours. Wait, what did I miss? What happened? Three days. They have another closed beta. Oh. Did they just announce it? 3-day closed beta. Oh shit. Oh, that's kind of hilarious, actually. Yeah, I saw the Maxroll video, and in fact, I've actually recorded kind of summary of the situation and my thoughts about it. That is about to go live, actually. That's kind of hilarious. So this is the reaction, huh? Interesting. I didn't know about this at all. That is bad. That is very bad, I think. Because I was just kind of applauding, you know, GG for not doing this kind of stuff. But okay, here we are, I guess. I mean, as long as I don't invite like the biggest racers and content creators, I guess it's all fine. But yeah, either way, we'll see. Starts today, it's 10 AM New Zealand time, which is 3 PM Central today. Okay, 3 PM Central. Which is at 11 my time, so in 6.5 hours. Well, I guess we'll see who goes offline in 6.5 hours. Interesting. How good is Maxroll support going to be for PoE 2? Yes. I mean, Maxroll has basically like half of the creators or something, you know? Like all the big guys are there. And with some exceptions. Like I think like, you know, Gazi, for example, he's working on PoE Vault and, you know, some other creators and stuff. There's like some other websites out there or people that just do like their own videos and that's it. But yeah, I mean they have a lot of pretty big names, so I can't really speak much about like other games. I have been only working on a Diablo branch, where I'm generally pretty satisfied with like pretty much everyone's work. PoE, yeah, I've been there at the very start when they made the PoE branch. And then I basically left to do the Diablo 4 branch and be the director. But yeah, I think they've generally been doing fine. So. Yeah, Maxroll team for PoE is massive. It's probably like even bigger than D4 team now, actually. D4 used to be the biggest team. Maybe it's PoE in 2 now. I mean, it kind of makes sense, I guess. Both games require like a lot of like work, but I guess PoE 2 might be the bigger one in the end. Lilies of mobile lytics. Yeah, that's also mobile, but yeah. Yeah, already in queue, 3k people in front of me. Oh shit, okay. You might want to get someone to remove all the fake wudijo accounts on my Discord. There is no fake wudijo account on my Discord. We keep banning them instantly, and actually they have stopped joining our Discord like weeks ago at this point, I think. So they're just sending requests to people that I cannot do anything about, like sellers. So that's just how it is. People need to understand that people try to scam them. And more than one people I cannot do. So this is all I can do. We banned them for a while and then they stopped coming to our server, and there's no one on our server anymore that we can ban. So this has been the longest 2 weeks ever, not healthy. It was mainly last epoch that let you down on Maxroll. Oh, interesting. Yeah, I don't know much about the quality of the last epoch guides. Like I played a few builds and you know some of them were like relatively close to what they had on last epoch, but yeah, I don't know what I don't know most of the guys did well. What class is my first character? I'm playing Mercenary right now. There's another close time data test running from tomorrow until Friday. Yeah, I heard about this. Very interesting that they're doing like a 3-day beta or like 4-day. Okay, I guess realistically, are they gonna end the server, like the beta server on Friday, or are they gonna just keep it running like slightly longer than that? Because technically people could be playing that instead of trying to sit in the queue for like a day and then get like an extra day. I wonder what they're planning with this, honestly. Like, what are they trying to achieve with that beta, right? That they haven't already seen. Because most people that will play now, and even if they go ham, how far will they get, right? So they will probably not really get much further than people have already done in like the previous betas and whatever they had running in just those 3 days. So it's kind of weird, most people maybe get through the campaign and a little bit in the endgame or something. And then what? Are they gonna like actually adjust things until Friday? And what would they do? So I'm pretty sure they're just like, fixing bugs that they already knew about anyway, for the most part. It's a bad idea because now Racer, etc. can get a big advantage. Yeah. What is this here? It's Path of Exile 2 week. Okay, and what do we see here? You have not gained for the last 2 weeks, storing the energy. Yeah, me neither. Actually, I played the Woven Realms for sponsorship like 2 days ago, which was really fun. And I just realized, man, I actually really enjoyed it because for the first time I actually play some game again. Because I haven't logged into anything for like weeks at this point or something. It's kind of funny. Soft server test. I don't think they're doing a server test though. If they want to do a server test, they should have just like made like a, basically what the D4 did, right, with the server slime. But they did like, 1 weekend for free, everyone can play up to level 25. You know, it could have just done like, okay, you know, Act 1, everyone can log in for 1 weekend or something like that, right? If you wanted. So you wouldn't see the ascendancies, you wouldn't really see like a lot of things. You know, maybe even like hide the entire password tree if you want or something. Imagine playing D4 PTR while people are testing PoE 2. Disparage. That is actually a disparage moment now I think about it. Ah, well. Basically, tomorrow we're gonna start a stream. PoE 2 waiting room, some more cooking and stuff. Yeah, and then I guess I'll play like a few hours of PTR, like, you know, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Get like, you know, the most important testing in. And then, yeah, it's gonna be like PoE mode again. Everything will be data mined. Yeah, true. But I mean, how do they prevent people from data mining the game now? You know, if they allow people to download the client and data and like, you know, get access to the game and they're playing the full game, then they can data mine the entire thing, right? So this is not really like a like argument here, I guess. I can absolutely expect there would be people like data mining this now. And if you get data mines that actually get cracked, you know, before Friday, and then people start looking at all the info and all the uniques and on the entire password tree, I don't know. I kind of was very excited to see that we don't know most of the details, right? And yeah, it kind of sucks, to be honest. Why do I assume there are no content creators invited? Well, we'll see, I guess. But at least so far in the past, as far as I'm aware, there have not been like any of the at least big content creators invited. You know, they wanted to kind of preserve the competitiveness, I guess, both in the game and out of the game. So you can invite blasters, but you know, I guess they wanted to avoid like, you know, people feeling like left out or, you know, kind of like prioritizing certain people, and then there would be like, you know, kind of beef or something. So it can definitely be a struggle. Like this happened to like a small degree already in D4, for example, where we had like, you know, early access for streamers and media, and then, you know, they invited like a lot of people, and you know, basically everyone who had like hashtag Diablo partner got in there, so they had like, I don't know, 100 people playing or whatever. But even so, there's like, you know, smaller creators that kind of feel left out and so on. It kind of sucks, right? If some people get in and some people don't. And it's also kind of weird as a content creator, you know, just like for your own personal like scheduling, for example. Like, yeah, you really want to play PoE 2 to get the advantage, to then have all the knowledge, to then make all the guides and tell everyone, hey, this works this way, I can tell you about that and whatever. But on the other hand, you also have to like not stream it. So you kind of like, you know, you give up your normal schedule and your normal income, for example, and then, you know, you have to play this off stream. You know, it just kind of feels weird, right? So and on top of like the whole like, you know, unfairness aspect, basically. So I think it's actually a pretty good idea with what they have done so far, at least to my awareness, that they did not actually like invite creators, basically. And of course, there could be people now that have been playing a lot of PoE 2 in the beta and whatever, that are no content creators but will become content creators now. But I mean, that's kind of hard to predict, and they will start basically from nothing, right? So. You don't need to worry about leaks on this test. There have been many tests according to Reddit. I haven't seen any leaks so far. Yeah, it seems like they have been doing relatively well there. That's nice. Thanks, Aluzaris, by the way, for the anniversary. 12 months, appreciate that. Mercenary, my understanding is that the problem is a slow reload, but after 30 minutes or 2 maps that gets fixed. It's because of skill unlocks. Yeah, the start on Mercenary seems relatively clunky and slow, but this is gonna fix itself pretty soon. So yeah, it might feel a bit weird at the start and weak, but it should be fine, I think. And then once you unlock the grenades and you have like more, you know, reload speed and like chance to not consume ammunition and these kind of things, then you're gonna be blasting, I think. There's a bunch of supports and like, you know, passive skills for that. I want Woody to play Warrior, but he is afraid. Oh, I'm not afraid at all of Warrior. I was actually strongly considering Warrior as my starter. I think Warbringer is very strong. I think Titan can also be very strong. In general, I expect a lot from Warrior, and it seems very fun as well. So we'll see. It's just so hard to decide between the different classes. There's a lot of stuff I want to try. He's baiting. Yeah, James does that, but I mean, I legitimately think highly of Warrior, let's say. Hey, Smoliars, thank you for the sub as well. I'm torn between Ranger and Merc. Yeah, Ranger also, like, I really want to try the snipe stuff. Like, man, I imagine like a build where I have like, you know, barrage, snipe, and do like, you know, 3 snipes at once, and like, it sounds so fun, man. Doing like some big nuke with that. And then like later you have like the rain of arrows, so you do like a barrage, rain of arrows, and just like blast down the entire screen. Like, oh man, it sounds really cool. You're thinking of starting content creation for PoE 2. Any tips? Get good. And don't clickbait. Good luck. Multi-shot tornado into barrage snipe. Yo. We have planners and guides ready by the 6th already? Is that a bit too early? I mean, the most you can really do is just kind of like making some kind of like, you know, build concept. Like I'm planning to like at least present like my mercenary setup and maybe like 1 or 2 more or something of, you know, stuff that I want to like prepare here, because I have some ideas in mind that I want to try out. Like I want to do maybe like some fire sword. I want to do maybe like the ranger that I just said. I want to do something on warrior and a monk. You know, maybe I'm gonna try to like play all their classes at least once in like, you know, maybe 1 class per week or something like that. At least get like 1 build kind of going and play it to endgame and kill all the pinnacle bosses and stuff like that. So yeah, we'll see when they actually do the next content update, when they will introduce hunters and druid and so on, for example. But yeah, definitely excited to try a lot of things. From the Siggy video, is Flash Grenade Titan the way to go? Nah, Flash Grenade has insane stun build up already. I don't think you need to go that deep. What do you do if someone in PoE 2 chat says the toucan has arrived? Or you spam a big toucan until you get timed out. Praise. That works as well. You don't care about D4, and I never said I didn't like PoE. It's just comical that these same dudes been taking it raw dog no loop for over a week and the game's not even out yet. Interesting. I mean, can you not just appreciate, you know, the hype and the excitement that people have for like a good game? You know, everything about it just seems like exciting. And it's gonna, you know, it's gonna set records and whatever, right? So that's just how it is. Yeah, the game is not out. Most people have not touched it, but I have played it, and I have watched many other people play it, and I have heard many opinions about it, and I heard, you know, like what the developers say, and so on, and everything just kind of looks like a good game. So it will just be phenomenal, I think, when you actually log in. Who is this Viper-esque Crucible? This will be Game of the Year, I think. Wasn't the Game Awards already? How does that work actually? Like I always find it weird that there is like, you know, all these like, you know, Thing of the Year awards before the year is over. Like why do they not do them in January after the year has passed? You know? I guess it's because of ad revenue, right? Because ads pay a lot more in December than they do in January because of Christmas. It's still weird. So hashtag logic, yeah. So I guess they probably like include the previous year's December into like a you know, Game of the Year award for 2025, for example, right? Yeah. So people can buy the game for Christmas for their kids. Now I understand why it's coming out before Christmas. I'm talking about, you know, Game of the Year or I don't know, like Movie of the Year or I don't know what. Like all this kind of stuff is always before the year is over. But I guess it has to do with Christmas and you know, basically ads are paying a lot more during the Christmas time. That's how the world works. Like for example, as a streamer or as a YouTuber, you know, a lot of my income is just ads, and there's like, you know, with the same amount of viewers, I get more money in December than I do in January, for example. There's like a huge drop off, for example. So that's just how it is. I guess it might be why. And it's not because I, you know, run more ads or something, you know, I have my settings unchanged for, you know, forever basically. You know, this is just like all automatic, and this is like, you know, what the ad providers basically pay. So and personally rooting for Wukong for Game of the Year. Yeah, it seems like these like, you know, RPG games often win to me, right? We had like Elden Ring, and then we had like the other nominee was like the God of War game, and they're basically very similar games. And then Wukong is also like the same thing, basically. It seems like they're often... I mean, actually, we had Baldur's Gate, right? Wasn't that Game of the Year before? So I guess it's a bit different. I could definitely see like PoE being at least a nominee for Game of the Year next year. It's impossible for free-to-play to get Game of the Year. I don't think the monetization model has really much to do with it, but maybe it would even be like an upside. Baldur's Gate 3 is super out of the norm. The first game of the year that actually is a niche game. I still need to play it at some point. I only hear people raving about it. I know if you watch this, the Korean promo show shows Witch with SRS. I have not actually seen the SRS in PoE 2 yet. What do we have there? Oh, it's like a trailer or what? I think I've seen these clips though. These are old, I believe. I remember seeing this. Yeah, this is all old, yeah. GTA 6, Idle Potters. Wait, is that actually next year? Ah, this is SRS, right? The Flaming Skulls. And it's kind of interesting because they like spawn automatically when you cast fire skills. So I wonder how much damage they actually do. So yeah, I guess something like a fireball and then having the SRS like just spawn and do some single target is probably like a pretty good combo. Missed the stun off. Dude, the fucking boss is melting, man. Look at that. What? I wonder if it's like giga overlevel or something. Is that a flame blast? This is flame blast, right? Yeah, he's channeling flame blast. Okay, it looks very different. It has like a very small animation. It's like this little circle. You see, that's like very transparent. That used to look like way more visible. It's pumping. This Giga Chat stuff, you apply for that boss. Yeah, okay, but you can't really expect to get like a Giga Chat stuff. And like similarly, you can also get like a Giga Chat hammer as a warrior or something. So skulls don't seem to target the boss. No, we saw it now. Yeah, look, the skulls are following the boss around. You see they're all like floating. And they hit them. And you see like, you know, they do like a little, like, you know, little bits basically. It's like constantly ramping up. And there's also the ignite going. So it's hard to like distinguish what is the ignite and what is the skulls. So here the ignite, for example, stopped. But now the ignite exactly starts when the skulls are hitting in, so it's hard to say like what is what. I guess here you can see it because he teleports away. And it's burning for like maybe like 100 damage a second or so, but it definitely ramps up, you see this? Let's go faster before the skulls are down. So like to do like 100 or 200 PPS or something. Yeah, this flame blast is chunking good. Boom, like, you know, 8% or something. SNS is not a support, it's actually a spirit skill, it's like an aura basically. And they automatically trigger when you cast other fire skills. We're not watching before cooking videos. Do those exist? I'm watching which videos and might be able to convert it before launch. I mean, it does look pretty good, man. The damage is definitely the highest I've seen so far, but it's hard to say because we don't see anything of the interface here, right? And there's also 2 people. But yeah, it looks like it's actually mostly the Sorks is melting the boss here really hard. And this is in 2-player. So maybe, dude. Very tender and friendless. Yeah, like, you don't know. I would like to play like an actual firecaster like this. Like, I would actually really like this. This looks very fun. And this is like, you know, a little bit what I had in mind as well. I was going to play Ember Fusillade and not Fireball, but I guess Fireball was fine. Let's sort the wedge. good question, but it's a fire caster, and right now we don't actually have like anything for like fire spellcaster on the sorcerers. I imagine that the third Ascendancy we're gonna get for the sorcerers eventually will allow like all kinds of spellcasting. Like Stormweaver seems like very lightning and cold focused, and the Chronomancer is probably like an all-rounder, but also like its own weird thing basically. And I guess the third the third archetype on sorcerers is probably also like some all-rounder caster that supports like, you know, even chaos and fire and everything. And I guess the Witch is probably like a relatively safe bet when it comes to playing a fire build, because they have Infernalist, and I don't think Infernalist will be only about the demon form and only about the Hound, but there will probably be some nodes that it can take to just be like a spellcaster, you know, like a fire damage spellcaster, basically. Check the DPS here.
Sycamores, you will unlock more floors to explore.
Okay.
Each floor has its
I mean,
own...
here we don't know anything about, you know, how far in the game this is. There's no levels or anything like that. So... one second, guys. I need to get a call real quick.
own challenging rooms, and a floor boss that you will need to kill. There are 4 floors in total, leading to another pinnacle boss at the end of the last floor, which can only be accessed at Endgame. The Trial of the Sycamores is where you'll find jewels, which you can socket into your tree. These are like passives that you can craft with your currency items. They can be really powerful as they allow you to stack modifiers that may not be easily accessible on the tree normally. This jewel gives lightning damage and shock chance, for example. There are quite a few jewel sockets on the tree, so it's possible to gain a lot of power here. There are also other types of jewels that don't provide any bonuses themselves, but affect other passives surrounding them. This jewel increases the effect of small nodes and radius by 25%. With careful placement in the tree, you could get a significant amount of power from it. There are also unique jewels available with very interesting effects, but you will have to find those for yourself. In order to push further into the trial and uncover the secrets of the Maraketh, you will want to take advantage of its progression system, relics. Relics are items that can be placed in the relic altar as you start the trial. They give special bonuses that affect the trial, making it easier and increasing its rewards. Of course, you can craft these with your currency items, making them even stronger. If you can complete the entire trial overcoming all 4 floors, the final boss will reward you with one of many unique relics. These relics will be consumed when used on your next run, but can reward you with unique and powerful items. For example, this is the Last Flame. If you use it, you will have only 1 honor for the entire trial, so you will need to do a completely hitless run. The Trial of Chaos also extends into the endgame. As you gain inscribed ultimatums of higher and higher levels, the number of chambers that you can go through increases. In true Vaal style, this allows you to take even more risks for even more rewards. At endgame, you can progress through up to 10 chambers with 3 bosses on a single run. Stacking 10 tribulations on top of each other will make this a significant challenge, but it's worth it. The Trial Master will tempt you with items of the Vaal Empire, such as Vaal Orbs. Vaal Orbs are powerful crafting items that corrupt your gear with random, mysterious outcomes. Corruption prevents an item from being modified further, so it has to be the last step of your craft. But it's also the most impactful one. For example, if you use one on your body armor, it might add a new powerful enchantment, or it might re-roll up to half of its modifiers. Vaal Orbs also have the ability to add a socket, allowing you to bypass the normal restriction
this was
of how many
Jonathan.
sockets
He was
an item
like,
can
man,
have.
you should really log in later. I'll think about it, I told him.
A body armor could get up to 3 sockets this way, allowing for a significant number of mods. Vaal Orbs can even modify uniques. Adding enchantments or sockets to uniques can make them incredibly powerful, but there is a good chance that you will break them as well. The Trial Master will also occasionally offer you soul cores. Originally formed by Chaos, the Vaal sought to replicate soul cores.
Okay, so we wanted to like watch something about DPS here or something. Where was that actually? Let me see the timestamp again. Someone linked this earlier. Check the DPS here.
Sycamores, you will unlock more floors to explore.
So I'm just gonna like... Do we see some
Each
numbers
floor
here?
has its own challenging rooms and a floor
This boss you mean?
boss that you will need to kill.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, this is probably just like, you know, kind of like an endgame character, I imagine. And of course, the DPS is gonna ramp up, you know, once you have like all these multiple stacking bonuses. So, you know, even in this game, I guess we're gonna eventually see like millions of DPS or something at least, I guess. It is definitely ramping quite hard here.
Challenging rooms and a floor.
It's actually a minion build, man. Look at this army. Look how many skellies he has. There's like 25 skeletons or some shit. Look at that. This is the total damage, yeah, but it does ramp pretty hard. You know, this is like per second, like 100k or something.
Floor boss that you will need to kill.
Look at this.
There are own challenging rooms.
So 5 seconds. This is like a 5 seconds jump. So it goes from 193 to 615. Yeah, it's like 80k DPS here in this 5 second window. And he's still like dodging the other guy.
And a floor boss that you will need to kill.
Yeah, this definitely seems like a relatively endgame character here. But yeah, who knows exactly. GG, now I want to play Necro. I actually expect the minion builds to be relatively powerful. Just because, like, from all I've seen, from, like, you know, the weapons that you find and the skill scaling and all that stuff, it seems like nothing really seems like very high numbers. You know, crit builds don't really seem like such a thing anymore. You know, all this kind of stuff. And I imagine that the minions, they probably just have, like, you know, a real good number for base damage. You can ramp it up with, like, minion modifiers. And then you can also have more minions later, and there's, you know, like, you know, multiple avenues of scaling them, basically. So it seems like minions will probably be pretty powerful. Like, just my guess. And looking at this here, it does seem pretty decent. So, but again, we have no information about this character, right? We don't know what level, what gear, and so on. Remember to specify the streamer server on the drop-down menu. Yeah, of course. I always go on the streamer client. It depends on the minion type. They have different AI for each one. Yeah. Minion will be popular, body blocking, and just passive DPS. Yeah, there is definitely like a good number of people that really like minion stuff, right? And you know, if there are viable minion builds, then people like playing that. You know, at least like, you know, something like 10% of the player base or something probably just like really likes minions, maybe more, I don't know. And also with like the games just being like relatively tough, maybe minions is just like the easiest way to get through, and this will also attract many people. A bunch of footage is people just dodging 90% of the fight. Minions will be really good. Yeah, I expect so. Like the reavers are a lot more aggressive. Yeah, I saw the skeletal reaver thing, and it looked really cool actually. The only disadvantage I can see is that the witch doesn't have many defensive options. Yeah, okay, but there's like, you know, energy shield you can start stacking, and I mean, life doesn't exist on a tree anyway. So are you really lacking defensive options that much? Like, what are you expecting? Like, where are the defenses coming from on other classes, you know? Yeah, sure, like the medic classes, they have maybe a bunch more armor and these kind of things, but that's almost about it. Yeah, a bit more strength, so you get a bit more life. But I don't think this will make like such a massive difference. When you have like an army of skellies just tanking shit for you and like attracting aggro. Disadvantage is that minion often is not the fastest endgame build. Yeah, I mean, speed is not even like such a huge factor, right? Maybe like late gate game where, you know, after you have progressed through the entire campaign and through all the map tiers, and you're like in tier 15 maps. I mean, how long will it take us to get there? I think it will probably be a while until we get there, right? We're talking probably about like 50, 80, maybe 100 hours or something for people to even reach that, maybe. Who knows? And, you know, up until then, it's kind of like speed doesn't matter much, right? It's more like you actually have to be powerful enough to even get there. What is sweaty players minions is not that interesting because of that. Yeah. But if like the game's pace being overall much lower, could imagine minions just being like also way more useful. Leave Merc and Slammers to pros. Yeah, I don't really want to play minion, but I think it's gonna be good. Am I going to be main ranger in PoE? I did main ranger in PoE 1 at least, I guess. I definitely made the most rangers out of all the other classes. Many leagues I started like a Deadeye or a Raider or something like that. And I definitely see myself doing this in the future as well. It seems like it has a really cool skill set. What Ascendancy am I going for? I'm probably Witch Hunter. But right now I'm also considering like an Infernalist. I wanted to check this again here, by the way, so where's the Infernalist? This one. Yeah, unfortunately we don't know exactly, but I mean there's so many nodes here, look at this. There's 2, 4, 6, 8, there's 10 different nodes, and you can choose 4 of them. So there just needs to be 4 out of 10 that support just being a fire caster, right? Like I want to try to play like, a direct damage, fire caster with no Infernal Hound. So that's kind of the idea. On the other hand, I mean, 20% of damage taken from hits is taken from your Hellhound's life before. It's also relatively good. So as long as you make this thing kind of tanky, it might actually be just strong, right? Having the Hellhound. I wonder what there is for like, minion stuff that just makes this thing like a tank. There's like a meat shield support, I know. That could be interesting. Yeah, the 20% damage reduction is kind of nutty. As long as your Hound actually lives. So this could also be useful. I wonder what comes after this, but it's probably not something to buff the Hound, I imagine. To make this like somewhat of like a minion ascendancy as well. Besides Ailment, it's 20% less damage. Yeah, it sounds pretty good. I am tempted to play Infernalist as well. Demon form will be disabled during EA? I don't think so. Did they say that? You can see the Hound icon. It's on the right side. And one is demon form. Ah. True, this is the demon form. Yeah, you see the icons, yeah, right? So the Hound is here probably. So it's actually its own thing, 2 points. Okay, so there's no follow-up. Okay. Yeah, I wonder actually, like, how viable is it to, for example, just go down this left path, and maybe this left path has just, a bunch of like fire spell damage, shenanigans, or something, and you don't have to deal either with the Hound or with the demon form as an Infernalist. And since there are 10 different nodes, it kind of makes sense, I guess. Cast on Ignite, login. Yeah, that's also pretty good. You saw the Gazi clip? I'm not sure if I saw that clip, but I know about like the overflow mechanic basically. What does the demon form do? I actually don't know exactly. I think it's like cast speed, move speed, some stuff like that maybe. Who's gonna start which? Let's find out. So we did this poll yesterday. Which was number 4? With 15% here. On my stream at least. Ranger was the last of 8.5. Yeah, I want to play a witch, but no minions. Sork here, chat. Ranger was awful to play in beta. I tried it very briefly when I was at Gamescom, and I guess the start is not really too interesting, but later you have like, this like jump, like you actually have a movement ability first of all, which is kind of like a special thing for most builds. Most builds don't even have movement abilities besides maybe doing something like a shield charge or so, right? I'm considering actually just having like a weapon swap for Leaf Slam, because at least in my mercenary build, I was actually planning to do like a Leaf Slam, and I was planning to have an Ancestral Warrior Totem with the Armor Breaker skill, so I can constantly use the high velocity rounds to use the armor break. And I was thinking, since I have that set up anyway, why not just throw in a leap slam? And this could actually be very nice to kind of just speed up your mobility and also get out of these, like, getting stuck situations and stuff like that. Why not Poison Gas of Corrosion? Yeah, the build I was going to make with the Grenadier has a lot of grenades, but actually did not consider the poison grenades, but maybe I'll include them too. We'll see. Rangers gonna end up fastest and map blasters endgame. Also, people forget Rangers can just use crossbows and merc stuff. Yeah, Data, it seems like a relatively strong ascendancy to me as well, to be honest, at least on what we've seen. And it gets speed, it gets insane accuracy stacking, so depending on how the accuracy will work, this could be very good. Tornado shot in PoE 2. There is a tornado shot, but it works completely differently. It's basically the tornado and the tornado shot in one, and then it's more of like a support tool. Basically, like you shoot a tornado shot, you spawn a tornado, and then that tornado can consume your projectiles and then spits them out and multiplies them in all directions. Everlasting elixirs on Pathfinder, broken, yes, no. What was that again? Was this like from some of the leaks? I don't remember what it was. Or was that from the skill tree? Tornado shot should duplicate grenades. In fact, I think tornado shot and grenades has like some of the best synergy, because the grenades will always land in the tornado if you want to. The problem is that tornado shot only consumes the projectiles you actually shoot into the tornado, but most of the projectiles will never get there because, you have the tornado like in the middle of the pack, you shoot into the pack, and then your arrows end, right? They don't pierce for everything. So grenades just go into the tornado and then they get spat out again. But then you have the other problem, the grenades, they just fly off in all directions. So this only makes sense if you like really have like a massive pack or something like that. So I don't really see that many like use cases for it. But yeah, there could be situations where this could be like a good combo. Then that probably has crazy pierce. Do we have like a pierce now for it or something? I could imagine there's probably some stuff like that with the pierce, where I can like use tornado shot much more reliably. Or you could also do it, like for example, high velocity rounds has that as well, I believe. Yeah, bolts pierce 6 targets. So you can actually do something like this, where you have the tornado, and then you shoot through an entire pack into the tornado with the high velocity round, and then it comes out again in all directions. But the thing is, it only shoots, I think, 3 projectiles. At least we saw this in one of the clips. So it's 3 projectiles, so there's like, a 120-degree, angle between each of these shots, and then there's just like, another high velocity round that goes in those 3 directions. So they may or may not hit anything. So I don't think it's that crazy, honestly. I think what we would need is like attack projectiles that are actually like heat-seeking missiles or something. You can like imagine you had something like imagine like the Constrictor bow ability from PoE 1, where like he fires like a bunch of projectiles and they kind of like home in on the player or something like that. So if like a skill like that exists, then you could like put a tornado in front of you, shoot through the tornado, and then the tornado spits out all the stuff, and then they seek out enemies or something. But I think this doesn't exist. So right now I'm not really, too optimistic about this whole tornado shot stuff, but there might be some combo that works well with it. Yeah, Cluster Grenade is probably one of those cases where it would be fine. Yeah, Cluster Grenade kind of just covers the entire screen, so maybe this is the way. Popgun thinks Rain of Arrows is underappreciated. Could be. I also expect great things from Rain of Arrows, actually. If it works like it does in PoE 1, it's going to be very powerful, I think. Because the way this works in PoE 1 is that I believe half of the projectiles are randomized in a big circle, and the other half of the projectiles are actually targeting an enemy inside the big circle, basically. Kind of like that. So, yeah, it's gonna be pretty good, I think, Rain of Arrows. The trailer we saw had 2 tornadoes up. Is that like a maximum? Here's like maximum 1 tornado, but there is a support gem that says like increased limit or something. So maybe it counts for stuff like tornado. If we saw a trailer with 2 tornadoes up, then maybe. Is this the only mention of tornado? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, this is like only those. So it could very well be, and there's like a support gem for that. Increase limit. But this seems like a keyword here, this limit. Here it actually says only applies to restrictions that use the word limit. Okay, so this will probably not work for the tornado then. Limit 8 bone constructs on unearth. Limit 1 totem. So here I can do this, for example. I can do increase limit. Minus 30% less skill duration. Bone offering. Limit 1 firestorm. Storm duration 6 seconds. So this then becomes 3 seconds, for example. When you have 2 of them up. So if you want to do like a fire caster where you like cast your firestorm, you like, 1, 2, and then like spam something else, like fireball, and then 1, 2. So something like that. I mean, 6 seconds might just be kind of like too slow, right? If you think about it. You don't want to have fights that last 6 seconds all the time. You want to like walk through a pack, blast them down, move on. So this could be like very valuable on a skin like this. Yeah, this is probably kind of whatever. Limit 1 pain offering. I wonder if this would stick. Probably not though, because it's like an aura. Orb of Storms could be kind of interesting. Orb duration is 10 seconds, so this becomes 5. And then you have 2 orbs. Fires a bolt every 3.3 seconds, and when you use a lightning skill near the orb, orb disappears after 14 bolts. So this could be really valuable, I think, if you do like an increased limit here. Shockwave totem. This could also be something. Totem lasts 12 seconds, this becomes 6. So you can still do some stuff in between. You then walk in, do like totem, and then start hitting them. The bell. But the problem with the bell is it kind of lasts very short, and you want to get the 12 hits. So I don't think you would actually do multiple bells. Because first of all, you also need 4 combo to even use it. So you cast a bell, and then you have to do 4 other skills in order to cast another bell. So I don't think this will actually really work. Yeah, so I guess Orb of Storms and Firestorm are like the 2 big candidates right now. And maybe the totem here. Shockwave totem. What about Frost Bomb? It just has a cooldown, okay. PoE Hypers, hi SER. Thank you. If you have a fast trigger for Firestorm, it should just be double damage. Yeah, I guess you could trigger Firestorm as well. If you don't want to like self-cast it, that would be reasonable. Just like spam Ember Fusillade and trigger Firestorm. I'm gonna post a check actually. Oopsie. Good. Hi, Chronix, by the way. The classic pre-launch 20 tabs are open face. I love it. I like to keep my tabs relatively clean, actually. In fact, after every stream and you know, at the end of the day when I shut down my PC, I always try to close every single tab. Besides maybe like my Twitch dashboard or something, because I just use that every day. Okay, that was like the 2 tornadoes. Let's see this. Will D4 ever recover? Probably. Oh wait, this was actually in the Korean video we just watched. I didn't pay attention to the tornadoes. I mean, this could also be because there's 2 players. Dude, it's like a mercenary with like a quarterstaff here. Look at him. Or it's just like a monk that happens to have like the. It looks like a mercenary. Look at his armor, right, with the coat and the helm. But he has his quarterstaff. Yeah, and there's a ranger. This is probably like a ranger there on the left. So let's see. Here we can see the tornado shot coming down. You see? It's actually appearing here. It falls down, and there's the tornado. Bam. Yeah, tornado's already there though. Oh wait, there's a new one. Yeah, it appears like it's both from the ranger. But now there's 3 tornadoes actually, look. He just casted another one. Maybe they updated it. So maybe you can have multiple tornadoes. I mean, how would this interact then? Like, wait, did the other one despawn in that moment? So here we see the one that inside the boss basically. There's one inside the boss as well. And it seems like it's still there while the third one appeared. Yeah, it definitely looks like 3 now. But now it's gone. These tornadoes, classic grenade, because game crash, login. SVR90, Exile for PoE too. Hell yeah. Looking at the skill, tornado, not tornado shots. Are they separate though? I mean, here it looks like tornado, but this is... I figured that this will just be an extension of this. This is the tornado here that we see for the tornado shot. But maybe it is its own skill, but it doesn't have a tag. There's like no, you know, spell tag or something. But I guess it does have a cost here. It does have a cast time. So maybe there is actually... Ah, okay. Yeah, so it's not connected. It's actually its own skill after all. It's just incomplete, I guess. Maximum 1 tornado. So in this tornado, this is just like the tornado skill like from PoE 1. Without all the shenanigans where you hit a tornado and then you do like damage, you know, around it and stuff like that, right? Okay, so tornado shot can just stack, I guess. Does it have a cooldown? It doesn't have a cooldown, so I guess you can just like do as many tornadoes as you want. I imagine though that you can't like shoot from one tornado into another tornado. There's probably like a limit, you know, like only your original projectile that you fire can go into the tornado and split, and then if that split hits another tornado, it probably doesn't split again. Because else you just do like, you know, an army of tornadoes and shoot like one thing inside and then throw a crash, right? So they can't do that. Like imagine you do this with like, you know, LMP, volley, extra projectiles, and you have like, you know, 7 tornadoes per shot. You shoot like 3 times per second. There's like 50 tornadoes floating around. You shoot like 1 cluster grenade. Boom. Yeah, this can't happen, right? Right, GGG? Uh, who knows? It could be funny, for sure. Any news when you can install on Steam? Well, I guess on Friday. Well, actually, it specifically says attack projectiles you fire at a tornado are sucked into. So they specifically call out you fire. So I'm pretty sure that, you can have multiple tornadoes, but it can't, like, have like infinite, stacking of tornadoes basically to profit off each other. So that's probably how it is. But it could maybe do something like a tornado shot, increase duration, just kind of like, throw it in there, and then just, have it there, and you shoot at it. It won't collect stuff from party members too. Yeah, probably. Does PoE define hits as physical attacks? No, hits are everything that is like direct damage, not a dot, for example, or an ailment or something. This can be a spell, this can be elements, and so on. Which class will I start? Yeah, I'm very torn. But I was leaning towards mercenary, but now I'm also thinking about, what about like a fire caster as a witch with Infernalist? We'll see. Tyler, maybe, but might not be instantaneously. Tornado shot doesn't have a duration. I mean, keep in mind that a bunch of these tooltips are incomplete. Like, there's no information about, what it does, any like damage, whoops, and stuff like that. So this is probably not showing like the full picture here. Like here's also like it's missing all of the tags and whatever, so some of the stuff is not actually like full tooltips. You're probably just playing both, and I can't play both at the same time, right? There's only one thing I can start with. Blood Mage, Eye of Winter for big crits. What do you guys think? What should I start? Should I make a poll? I'm just curious what people think. So here, like some of the things I'm leaning towards. So Grenadier Mercenary, Fire Witch, Lightning Melee Monk, maybe Warrior. But I'm not sure what I would do with Warrior exactly. Okay, let's see. Let's give it like a 1 minute poll. So it's for the Twitch folks. I didn't do like a straw poll for this now, it's just a quick one. Let's see. Kind of excited to see the result here. About my starter, so what do you think? Without, really thinking about, okay, how strong is it gonna be, or something like that. Thank you for the prime, by the way, from Anne Marylo. Appreciate that. Bigger gun. Oh, very interesting, actually. More votes. You have 10 seconds. Hello, Eclipse. All good times. I do not want to do that. Interesting. Firecaster Witch. Ramping. So many votes. How many do we have? Yeah, not that many. It's like less than 100 votes. But interesting. Witch for noob. Is it? I don't know. Yo, Mr. Mark. Thanks, I don't know. Appreciate that. Also another Fire Witch enjoyer. I mean, it's kind of cool, you know, like the Fire Witch. You have like the Ember Fusillade, that's a cool skill. And then you have like stuff like the Raging Spirits, and you have like the Firewall, and you can shoot through the Firewall. Like, that sounds pretty cool. I was paid to vote Witch. Fiery Death Support. You get a chance to explode with Ignite with Fire Witch, Fiery Death. Which one is that? Supports any skill that hits enemies causing explosions on killing ignited enemies. Killing doesn't support it. Skills against ignited enemies has 6% chance to cause the enemy to explode. 60%. I wonder what that means though, like what is the explosion exactly? Is it just like the same damage that the skill did, for example? That would be kind of nutty actually, right? At least for like, the hard hitting skills. Fire Grenade Witch. Yeah, I guess if like a spell casting doesn't work out, we can still move over to a grenade playstyle and start using a crossbow. I guess maybe there is enough fire support to actually make that viable. That would be hilarious. And then you path down to Avatar of Fire. You throw in like a fire curse. Monk doesn't have Drunken Master Ascendancy. We don't know what's the third one yet. There's like one like Chaos Dark Monk. And then there's like one like Cold and Lightning Monk. And I guess maybe the last one is like some kind of like brawler, like full physical damage or these kind of things. I imagine. But the third one is not announced yet, so we'll see. Wind Monk. Yeah, there could be some stuff like that as well. Yeah, I'll think about it. Maybe I should put something together and see what happens. Create a new build. Oh boy. It just seems to like save everything here. Every time you open a link. Like it's working really weird with like cookies, I guess. Because I only saved this one. And then it has it 3 times. And then this I never saved. I just opened a link from someone. And now it's here. So that's a bit weird. On demonstrations, Monk leaps them, vaulting impact looked very fast. However, on skills description it says +1 second to attack time. Yeah, basically this +1 second to attack time means this is like a fixed, you know, like the air time, for example, right? You are in the air for 1 second, so that's just how the skill works. Like it's the same on like the Comet, I believe, and this escape shot from the Ranger. So all these things that, you know, actually move you through the air or something, they have like a fixed extra time, which is, you know, independent of your attack speed, for example. But I mean, this is kind of like the bread and butter of the build. Maybe Versatility, Flame Wall, Raging Spirits, maybe throwing like a Herald of Ash, or is it only for attacks? Only for attacks, actually. So what do we do? Malice. Critical Weakness. What is Critical Weakness again? It's like a stacking extra crit chance, I think, or something like that, but I'm not sure how much. Can maybe throw in a Defiance banner. Which is 30 Spirit here, it's actually a lot in PoE too. Flame Wall, ew. Wait, why? Like, the interesting part is that there doesn't seem to be like an effective damage multiplier. It's kind of weird. None of these skills, at least here on the tooltips that we have, seem to have added damage effectiveness. So, you know, like the multi-proj stuff seems to be just getting the same bonus. It's flat crit chance per stack, 0.5 per stack. That's actually a lot. What was that thing? Weakness. Menace. Critical weakness is duration is 4 seconds. Applies critical weakness to enemies area 0.6 seconds. But I guess it stacks, right? Does it stack? Cast on Ignite. Gain 20 energy when you ignite an enemy. If I hit from a skill, once per skill use. Triggers all socket spells and loses all energy on reaching maximum energy. So we definitely want to do something like Cast and Ignite. We probably need a lot of spirit for this. This is 60 spirit. This is 30 spirit. This is 30. Maybe it's not that bad actually. But you also want to like add a bunch of supports there. Thanks for the wishes, Yerp Deans. I also wish you all the best in other chats. Okay. What else do we have here for fire spells? Firestorm is maybe this is actually something I'm gonna put on a trigger on Cast Ignite, for example. That would be interesting. But the question is, can we ignite? How do we ignite? I mean, the Infernal list has a bunch of ignite stuff here. While not on low Infernal Flame, all damage from you and your minions contributes to ignite chance and magnitude. But the thing is, we need to have some source of ignite chance in order for this to work, right? Or does this just give anything ignite chance? I mean, we're already using fire skills, so this ignite magnitude stuff is still not really relevant. Chance to ignite support. I don't think this is enough though. Chance to ignite. This is only 100% more, but you need to have a base chance. If you don't have a base chance to ignite, then this doesn't help you. I'm pretty sure like the skill needs to say that it has a chance to ignite. Fuck, it's not even mentioned, man, in the fucking PoE wiki. What? Everything is here. Minion, stun, bleed, poison, but no ignite. Seriously. What about Ailment? Ailment chance is now based on the damage dealt by the hit which applied it. Critical strikes no longer guarantee applying ailments. Maybe it doesn't matter. Okay. So basically, instead of hitting a target and then applying whatever ignite, it's like the same as a stun build-up, right? So it builds up until the target ignites, and then it just burns for a while, and then it just builds up again, and so on, right? Okay, so it actually works the same. So is it that's the same for all ailments? Okay, then actually this is fine. So we always have some ignite. All fire skills will ignite eventually, basically. Yes. Viper. Yeah, someone posted this here actually. Who is Viper? This is one of the devs. I just don't know what is enough ignite early on. Yeah, so maybe that's like 100% MR. It actually makes sense then, the chance to ignite. He's a dev, okay. No distinction between gem and non-gem skills for that. Every player skill has levels now and can be affected by plus level stats. This line is gone now. Default used to be that war cries shouldn't empower shading skills, but that's no longer true. Base player movement speed is 3.7 ms in both games. Ignite and shock chance are based on damage relative to monster's ailment thresholds. Currently, it's a base of 25% chance to apply per 100% of ailment threshold the hit deals. Okay, I mean, this doesn't really tell me that much, but okay, we'll learn more, I guess. It's much more acceptable to have lower res later in the campaign than in PoE 1. Probably shouldn't speak to the exact balance points, but res capping is more of an endgame expectation. Triggered skills can't generate energy. Minion counts can also be specified per weapon set if you want to. Which Discord is this, by the way? Technically, auto attack has sockets now too. Not just technically, it does. And I mean, auto attack, like supporting auto attack in like Act 1 and Act 2 is most likely happening, at least on many builds, I imagine. It's infinite in the same way as Delve is infinite. Unless your name is Steve, you're not reaching it. Okay. Just not spells. Attacks can still have flat added damage. Legend ailments care about the final pre-mitigation damage of the hit now. So crit snash effect ignites. Yeah, so this is kind of weird. So crit damage affects the ignite. So does it just mean it ramps up the chance to ignite faster, and then at some point the target will ignite for a certain exact number? But we're also talking about this like Hammer of the Gods ignite build that is supposedly going to one-shot bosses, where it just has like really high weapon damage number. So how is that going to help exactly? Besides igniting it very easily. So this can't really be it. And the same thing with poisons, right? Like they should scale in some way of your damage done, and not just the chance to apply it. So it seems a bit like unclear to me. Poison just 25% of base of Fizz and Chaos. Yeah, it could increase the ignite chance, but the damage when the ignite happens is still the same. Is that how it works? So it doesn't matter how big the hits is. If you do like, 100 hits that do 1 damage and then ignite, or if you do 1 hit that does 100 damage and then ignite, it's the same damage of the ignite. Is that how it is? So it's just like some, predefined value. So it basically works not more like the last epoch, like ailments, right? They have like a flat value, and then maybe you stack them or something like that. I mean, in the case of Ignite, you're not gonna have much stacking, but in case of Poison, you can have quite a bunch of stacking. What does cost multiplier mean? Yeah, this means like, the mana cost goes up or the spirit cost. It's a predefined value scaled by magnitude. Okay, so this entire like Hammer of the Gods Ignite build that we talked about yesterday is like completely pointless, right? Because she's gonna like hard overcap your Ignite chance. You know, you drop the hammer, but it doesn't actually do more damage from having the big hammer. Okay. It is partially both those things. Many strikes and projectiles will miss you for the first half of the dodge roll animation, so it has partial iframes. The thematic associations for Druid are just scepters and staffs. They also come with Templar rather than Druid. Does that mean that using multiple procs to get 4 nades to hit the enemy does indeed hit all 4 nades? Sort of. Basically all crossbow skills can multi-hit though. The shotgun ones obviously have that behavior built in and specified, but the other forward-firing crossbow skills inherently fire expediters in sequence rather than in a spread. Interesting. So even like high velocity rounds with like multi-proc can actually double hit and triple hit and stuff? L Eastlander, SMH. I think the last Epoch rest system is actually really good. I agree with that. It's probably the best I've seen. But I guess they just kind of stuck to their, you know, more understandable solution here. You can play mage with crossbow. Maybe Ignite is like a bonus damage, not meant to be focused on. Yeah, I'd say so too, actually. I mean, there might be at least a desire to make builds around, you know, just being a dot build with Ignite or just being a poison build. But we'll see if we actually have enough support for these kind of things at the start at least. Maybe late game there will actually be like uniques that really open up, you know, something like, okay, you know, your Ignite magnitude is plus 100% and you can have 2 of them at a time. And, you know, something like that, and you actually really ramp it. But it doesn't really seem so far, at least. Wait, there was more? I thought it was the end here. Ah, 5 more images, oops. Combo is skill specific. Combo on multiple skills doesn't interact at all. Keystones and shield sockets are off limits for weapon swapping passes. Temporary minions don't reserve spirit. Skills on ascendancies level up based on your character level. Crits have no specific interaction with ailments. They are more likely to inflict ignite and shock because they deal more damage, but that's it. Okay. Alright, so it sounds like basically every ailment has like a predefined value, like shock, chill, ignite, poison, and so on. They all seem like they're the same, and then you can scale some of them with like certain stats, like the magnitude or the effect. Is magnitude and effect the same? Because on a skill tree so far, I've only seen effect, but not magnitude. I'm not sure where magnitude is coming from exactly. But maybe they mean this. The bosses have huge ailment thresholds, yeah. I guess at least for the CC ones, right? Not sure about the others. Magnitude is basically dot multi. Yeah, I understand what it does. I just have not seen an example of magnitude. Like here, there is like ignite effect, for example. We go up here. Here, there's increased effect of ignite. So is this the same as magnitude, or is this also another multiplier? They're changing magnitude to effect. Okay. So this is the same. Alright. I mean, it will be the new effect or updated tooltip soon. Alright, so this is only one stat. Okay. Yeah, in that case, it seems very unlikely that it can do like a pure ignite build. Or even like a pure poison build. I mean, there's a lot of poison stuff on the ranger. Maybe you can get there. But ignite, we have not really seen anything of like, you know, stacking multiple ignites or like, you know, anything crazy about it, right? So even if you have an ignite rolling all the time, it's probably not enough damage. That's my expectation. For poison, I can kind of see it. What's the best class for someone who has not that much experience of PoE? Tough to say. Maybe Witch. I would expect Witch with minions is probably one of the most beginner-friendly things you can play. With Hammer of the Gods, Ignite will be sick. In Path of Exile 1, I would absolutely believe you. In Path of Exile 2, I don't really expect that right now. Maybe there will be gear that allows you to invest also in Ignite, penetration, etc. Yeah, as I said, you know, there might be like certain uniques that really build into this Ignite fantasy. And it's like maybe, okay, early game, I could also imagine that, you know, as you progress into the late game and you get like more tools, more automation, more specialization, maybe we get to the point where you don't have to like weave like 3 or 4 skills together all the time. And you can like maybe leave out 1 or 2 and then you have like maybe like 1 AoE skill and 1 single target skill and that's mostly it or something. And you like automate your curse and you automate, you know, a bunch of procs and whatever. So I imagine that this is actually where we're headed in the late game, right? Because people don't want to like, you know, just, you know, do this like very slow, you know, cast this, cast that, set this thing up all the time, I guess. At least not on all those builds. And in this case, I can also imagine that we're gonna get enough specialization to like, for example, focus on something like a pure Ignite build maybe later on. But I could imagine that maybe for the first like, you know, 70 levels or so, there's probably no way of doing this. And you have to, you know, also cast other stuff at least while your Ignite is ticking. You can't just like run around in a circle or something. Searing Touch. Show us that again. Yeah, I've seen this. This is a staff. Grants level 9 Living Bomb. That sounds fun actually. 80% fire damage, 19 cast speed, 100% chance of Ignite, 100% effect of Ignite. Yeah, that is like kind of a big one. Yeah, this definitely goes in the right direction, yeah, I'd say. I wonder what Living Bomb does. I know this was a thing in WoW. When did that... did that actually get introduced in Burning Crusade? Living Bomb? I think so. It was a very fun skill, actually. Basically, like, you apply like a dot to an enemy, and then after a while it goes boom. And it just hits everything in AoE for big damage. So maybe it's something like that. Or maybe it's like you become the bomb, you know? Like, it's like a self-cast, and then... You know, like in Elden Ring, when you chuck the potion? Kaboom! How does effect work in PoE? It's basically a multiplier. So in this case, 100% increase of effect of Ignite. If you don't have any other effect, this is basically ×2. You're the bomb. Yeah. Any plans to do PoE for Dummies video? I have been working on some like guides and stuff. I haven't made like a comprehensive here's everything you need to know kind of video yet, but I was planning to like, you know, later this week. Living Bomb is from Baron Geddon. Yes. That's also like a raid ability from the boss. Kind of an interesting item, yeah, for sure. The Searing Touch. Requires level 31. It's not even that high. Like, this seems like a very good item, actually, that you could probably use for a while if you find it. Like, even if you don't do like a Giga Ignite build, you will have your Ignites running very easily all the time. And you get double the damage of Ignite. You get this as well. I mean, this seems pretty nice, even like, no matter what this thing does. Sounds interesting, Robert. You won't be able to live with a staff? Why? I have a good doggy. with me. That takes 20% of my damage. Probably drops from a tough boss. Yeah, I mean, we have no information about how often do uniques drop, and I think when I played, I found like 1 unique or something. But I also imagine that in Act 1, Act 2, there's probably not that many uniques. But yeah, in like, I don't know, like 3-4 hours, or 5 hours, maybe I found like 1 unique or something. I was playing for like Act 1 and Act 2. If you want to practice, go start Prior League in PoE1 with all Prior League mods turned on. That would be a great way to practice. I think what he should actually be doing is he should start a Ruthless run. Because that's actually very close to the PoE2 experience. At least until maps. What I'm also confused about is items. The items don't really seem too complicated right now. You know, we don't have like, insane, like, late game crafting systems yet and stuff like that. And okay, there might be like some cool stats that you unlock in higher levels. But I think most of it is like relatively straightforward. Once you like understand the basics a little bit. Like for example here, you need to know if something like the shield says 117% increased armor, then this is like a local mod for the shield. You see like this number is actually blue because of this. It's not a white number, which indicates that it would not be buffed. Like this. This one is blue because it is buffed by this. This doesn't apply to all of your armor, across the board. But if you have like a passive skill, like on your tree, and you take, increased armor 15%, then this is actually a global mod that increases all of your armor. And then it takes this value, plus all the other armor you have from your other gear, and then it multiplies that. So this is like an important distinction you need to know. I don't know if there's like anything else here, for example, that we can talk about. Like some stuff is like always global, like, life, stun, like these are just global mods, this just like buffs your character in some way. But there are certain things that are local to like a weapon especially, or to a shield or something like that, or like, these like armor mods on armor pieces. Same thing here, does increase energy shields. You see this is the blue number, this means it's buffed by this. Agoraphobic. Can you do a similar video about SSF or Trade League, benefits, difficulties, etc.? Yeah, it's really hard to do such a video right now though. I don't really know like what the trade will look like right now. So I can talk about what it was in PoE1. And I mean, Trade League is just like a way faster and easier way to get through the game. It's obvious when you can't trade, then, there's just like a lot of stuff you're missing out, or that you just have to go and farm yourself. It's probably not going to be as bad in PoE2. I guess PoE2 is like much more SSF friendly, or just much more an SSF experience than PoE1 was. But maybe over time this will change. But yeah, at least I can talk about the basics of how trade works and so on. So that might make sense, actually. I don't get it. What about the cookbook, by the way? Important to note that there are almost no good stats. For example, my last PoE build had to avoid energy shield at all costs, while ES generally considered a good stat. You're leaning for an Ignite build? I'm rather thinking that Ignite builds are not really a thing. Like you can use Ignite as a kind of like a, extra damage in your setup, but it will not carry you. At least not until way later, is my expectation right now. I don't really see how you get there. But I guess we'll find out. There's stuff like, you know, just saw this here, like the searing, whatever it's called. Let's see if there's any other stuff with fire damage. Cloak of Flame, fire res, with right side of 40% physical damage taken as fire. Okay. That comes back pretty strong. Winged Spear. Okay. But yeah, Searing Touch is a big item. But it's the only item that says fire damage here right now. On uniques that we know about. Poison looks really strong. Yeah, I imagine poison can be its own thing as a carry. Like after looking like what's available on the skill tree and stuff, there's certainly a few things that make sense here to build into. And you can have like something like 8 stacks of poison, 10 stacks of poison or so, like if you attack fast enough. And maybe there's also stuff like poison duration and these kind of things to get to the point where you just have like multiple of them stacked and constantly running. I could imagine poison is actually going to be pretty good on like Ranger, Pathfinder or something like that. What do you think of Bleed? Yeah, I think Bleed will have the same problem that Ignite has, which is it doesn't stack. And they also removed the old keystone where I could stack Bleed 8 times. So you have 1 stack of Bleed, and I don't know, maybe you have some other sources of it, but I haven't seen anything. I mean, there's this aggro rate. So there's that. Which is like an effect where like they bleed out, I think, 200% faster. So your bleeds probably go from like, I don't know what, probably 4 seconds to 1.5 or something, or 6 to 2, stuff like that, I guess. I think they bleed out faster, right? And they count as moving or something. It's something like that. You haven't seen Ailment nerfs on skills where it use Ignite or Blades? Yeah, that's because people think that Ignite and Bleed works the way it does in PoE 1, but it doesn't seem so. Apparently it's a fixed damage value. It's like last epoch. You know, 1 Bleed stack does, you know, 30 damage per second. And, you know, 1 Poison stack does 33 damage per second and so on. So apparently this is how it works. Which means I expect basically nothing from Ignites and from Bleeds and stuff. That's not how it is. The damage is based on initial hit. Really now? I went robot away. So people keep telling me this, and I'm trying to find information. I just went to the PoE wiki as well, and I couldn't really find, you know, anything about it. So it just says that. Where is that? It's based on a damage dealt by the hit which applied it. Critical strikes no longer guarantee applying elemental ailments. Yeah, but then this only says the chance. So I understand that this means you ramp it up similar to how you ramp up the freeze or how you ramp up the stun, and then eventually the target ignites and it has a fixed ignite. So how is this gonna like work exactly? You can link the video, yeah. I watched the Dreamcore videos, but maybe it's like a newer one. No, you don't get timed out. Vipers GG. But we just saw this here. Yeah, he wrote this. Damaging ailments care about the final pre-mitigation damage of the hit. Wasn't there like some other mention of this? Ignite and shock chance are based on damage relative to the monster's ailment threshold. Currently it's a base of 25 damage to apply for 100% of ailment threshold the hit deals. But it doesn't say anything about the, like, you know, damage of the ignite, for example. But maybe this is like just implicit. It's like, okay, bigger damage means bigger ignite, but how is it, for example, if you do like 1 big hit, 1 small hit, 1 big hit, 1 small hit, does it just like kind of like add up together and average it out until the ignite happens or something? Yeah, I have this open here. Like, in any case, it doesn't seem clear to me. can check this again, yeah. What is this? Three weeks ago. PoE 2 mechanics damaging ailments. Okay, we can check this out actually.
Welcome to another Path of Exile 2 mechanics video. PoE 2's early access...
So maybe this Hammer of the Gods, you know, combo is actually really sick then. If like it kind of guarantees the ignite and gives you a big ignite, then yeah, I can see that work out pretty well actually.
Is launching on December 6th, and in this series I'm covering the game's
This has the interview with
mechanics,
Jonathan
discussing
today.
how they function
When is that actually? I guess it's gonna be kind of late though.
and
stay
how they
forever
differ
today,
from the same mechanics in Path of Exile 1, to create a resource that's useful for new players and veterans alike. You can check out the full series by following the link in the video description below. This video is all about damaging ailments. Let's get into it.
I would be very surprised if the Hammer of the Gods can just like, you know, one-tap bosses and stuff. And if that happens, they're gonna nerf that instantly, man. Like there's no way. Okay, maybe if you're like really overgeared and, you know, it's like mapping and it's like a typical map boss, let's say, then maybe you're gonna blast him down with the Hammer of the Gods and, you know, double combo or something. But there's no way they're gonna allow this, right? So we'll see. And the Hammer of the Gods doesn't have that much more damage than grenades, for example. You know, Hammer of the Gods is 1300%. And okay, you might have like different scaling here and there, but grenade stuff is pretty insane. You know, the grenades have like 580 or something, and you can have like 4 of them at once. And, you know, there's like, you know, crazy amount of scaling for grenades. And I don't see mercenaries doing anything close to, you know, one-shotting a boss or something. But yeah, we'll see, I guess. Has a lot more damage to ignite. Yeah, we'll see.
Damaging ailments in Path of Exile are comprised of 3 ailments, each of which deal damage over time while in effect. These ailments are bleeding, ignite, and poison. Bleeding is inflicted by physical attack damage and deals physical damage over time.
Okay, but is this actually up-to-date info? Because it's not on the wiki. Is it just like the same as in PoE 1 and they just didn't change it? Is that confirmed?
At a magnitude of 70% of the base physical hit damage that inflicted the ailment per second, for 5 seconds and does not stack. The damage dealt by bleeding triples to 210% per second while the target is moving. Ignite is inflicted by fire hit damage and deals fire damage over time at a magnitude of 90% of the base fire hit damage that inflicted the ailment per second for 4 seconds. And
yeah, this is also the same number from PoE 1, right? 90%. I think I remember that. But this is like PoE 1 here. Is it? Yes. But are we sure this is the same?
does not stack. Ignite is guaranteed to be inflicted by a hit of fire damage, which is also a critical hit. Poison is inflicted by physical and chaos hit damage and deals chaos damage over time
at also outdated. The stacks.
Magnitude of 30% of the base physical and chaos hit damage that inflicted the ailment per second.
Maybe it's just
2 seconds and stacks with
maybe he's just comparing it, like, but I don't think he said that.
No limit. There are many modifiers on the passive
but he has like another chapter
skill tree, on Ascendancy notables, and on unique items which interact directly with these ailments. More common modifiers increase ailment duration or improve a character's chance to inflict those ailments, but some modifiers can directly alter the default behavior of an ailment. For example, the Crimson Dance Keystone, which makes it so you can deal damage with up to 8 stacks of bleeding simultaneously on a single target, at the cost of dealing less damage and losing bleeding's inherent property of dealing bonus damage while the target is moving. Now, Path of Exile 2 will be making some very significant changes to ailments. Firstly, let's discuss the broad changes to ailment application and the damage dealt by ailments. In PoE 2, you won't be able to invest into modifiers which grant you a percentage-based chance to inflict a specific ailment like you can in PoE 1. At the same time, critical strikes in PoE 2 will no longer guarantee the application of elemental ailments. So, how do you inflict ailments? Well, the chance to inflict ailments and the damage that they deal in PoE 2 will now be based on the hit of damage received on the defender's side prior to the
Wait, it's actually like the same guy. Critting increases the chance of uniting enemies since it's based on damage. Damaging ailments now care about the final pre-mitigation damage dealt by the hit, but damage modifiers don't apply to them directly anymore.
Mitigation stage. This is different from the calculation of damage for ailments in PoE 1, where that damage is instead derived on the attacker's side of the calculation from the base damage of the hit. If you're interested, you can check out the full order of operations for the damage calculation in this video that I made on the topic right here. Now, this change is important for a few reasons. Firstly, since the chance to inflict an ailment is based on the damage of the hit, you now care about scaling the hit damage to help ensure that you can apply that ailment. This is something that wasn't important in PoE 1. For example, the Deadly Ailment support gem is a regular addition to ailment-based builds because the 80% less hit damage doesn't impact the damage dealt by the inflicted ailment. Secondly, because the damage dealt by the ailment in PoE 2 is based and scaled by the hit of damage prior to mitigation, damage modifiers will no longer directly apply to the ailment like they do in PoE 1. This means that in PoE 2, you're actively incentivized to scale the hit damage, not only to improve your chance of inflicting the ailment, but also to deal damage with it. Now, even though the hit damage prior to mitigation is what will determine the chance to inflict an ailment, you can still invest into modifiers that will help you inflict an ailment, but they work a bit differently. The Ignition support is a great example. This one makes supported skills have 50% more chance to ignite. This can be seen as being somewhat similar to the mechanic in PoE 1 which exists on modifiers that allow you to inflict an ailment as though you were dealing more damage, only this instead improves your chance to inflict the ailment as though you were dealing more damage. This is because the hit damage first determines the chance to inflict the ailment, and the modifier on the Ignition support then acts as a multiplier for that number. In addition to being able to improve your chances of inflicting an ailment, you'll also be able to scale the ailment damage directly with a new type of modifier which only exists for some non-damaging ailments in PoE 1, Ailment Effect. In PoE 2, you'll be able to make use of Ailment Effect modifiers for damaging ailments to scale the ailment damage directly, such as this Frostfire support gem which makes ignites inflicted by supported skills have 100% more effect against frozen enemies. This modifier would essentially double the base effectiveness of Ignite, from dealing 90% of hit damage per second up to 180%. Aside from hit damage per second up to 180%. Aside from hit damage modifiers naturally scaling ailment damage in PoE 2, there are two other important mechanics that will also affect damaging ailments in PoE 2. Critical strikes and double or triple damage. These mechanics are calculated prior to mitigation and directly scale the hit damage, and therefore they will improve the chance to inflict an ailment and the damage that that ailment deals. Keep in mind that the 50% dot multi for ailments applied by critical strikes in PoE 1 will no longer exist in PoE 2. And as previously mentioned, critical strikes will no longer guarantee elemental ailment application. In Path of Exile 2, there will also be changes to the default behavior of specific ailments. Bleeding can now only be inflicted with a hit that deals damage to life. A hit that's fully absorbed by energy shield or another resource won't be able to inflict bleeding.
Yeah, this means like a pure bleeding build just cannot exist. Straight up, because some enemies will have energy shield, and you literally cannot kill them if you just rely on bleed. So this will just never be a thing.
Additionally, the damage dealt by bleeding will fully bypass energy shield. Interestingly, this means that the Chaos Inoculation Keystone will make a character immune to bleeding. In PoE 2, poison will not stack by default, but you will be able to invest into additional poisons such as this multiple poison support. Like bleeding, poison will also bypass energy shield, which is already true in PoE 1 since it deals chaos damage. However, this will be an ailment specific stat in PoE 2 because Non-poison chaos damage will no longer bypass energy shield and will instead remove twice as much from this resource.
Okay, so basically we don't have any idea how much damage it does. Great, man. So there's like no numbers that we have. It's just like, okay, the bigger the hit, the bigger the bleed. Cool. But we don't know anything about it other than that, right? Unless it actually remains the same numbers as in PoE 1. Where, you know, it's actually like the 90% of the hit damage contributes to ignite. But again, like, you know, if you like... Okay, it's like ignite chance and ignite damage. So a small hit has a low chance and low damage if it happens. And the big hit has a high chance and high damage if it happens. So I guess like step number 1 is try to get hard hitting abilities. If you want to do any kind of ailment damage. But other than that... Is that bleeding bypasses enemy ES? It seems so, yeah. Damage from bleeding and poison bypasses energy shield to remove life directly. Which is interesting, because chaos damage does not actually go through energy shield anymore by default. Here, it actually says chaos damage removes twice as much energy shield. But poison bypasses it. But I guess the only way to actually then not die to the poison, for example, is to play CI. So you can't actually play a low life energy shield build anymore, right? Because something will poison you and you will just die. Unless there's like a way to prevent that, maybe with a unique or something like that. But they're like reserving all your life to play like a low life build is actually not a thing. So you have to play CI if you want to do like a full energy shield build. Yeah, it's not chaos. Poison, it literally says poison poison is chaos, but it says poison bypasses it. So that will override it, basically. It will just not go in the energy shield. Has always been the case of AI. Yeah, but usually you had like a, you know, the unique chest for it, like chevrons, right? Where you equip chevrons, you reserve all your life, you play energy shield, and you have low life, and you have lots of auras. So this is like, you know, the typical way to do this. And then there was like the chevron at home, the other unique chest. But either way, I'm still not really much smarter about how does the ignite scale, but I guess we just have to wait and find out. If it actually works like off the skill, like imagine you drop the hammer of the gods, and then it actually scales like 90% of that hammer damage. Like, is that per second actually? Yeah, ignite space burning damage is 90% of the hit per second. And lasts 4 seconds usually, right? Yes. So without any like ignite duration or something like that, you get a lot of damage out of this. So the Hammer of the Gods combo with this could actually be pretty legit. If the numbers are the same. Like the chance to ignite is probably 100% if you drop the fucking hammer. Because it's just like large damage at once. You go like Avatar of Fire or something, convert it all. Or maybe use like the Infernalist. Wind is physical. Yeah, there's like a bunch of wind stuff on the monk, which seems like physical. Bleed is dangerous on low life now. Well, the thing is, if you play a low life build, then you cannot be affected by bleed. Because bleed can only be inflicted to you if you take life damage. So if you have energy shield, you cannot get a bleed. But you can get poisoned. That's the difference. Bleed can only be applied by damage to life. If you have energy shield, this cannot happen. Poison can always be applied to you, and then poison will just kill you if you're low life with energy shield. He has immunity to both. Wait, does poison also care about damage to life? I don't think so. I think poison can just be applied. So, I don't think this matters. Yeah, it actually says that here for bleed. Bleed now only scales with damage dealt to life. But it doesn't say the same for poison. Reader, yes, tooltip. So what does it tell us about poison? Yeah, CI will make you immune to chaos and to poison. But if you don't have CI and you get poisoned, which seems possible, you will take that damage to your life instantly. Poison does not require you to take life damage, only bleed. Yeah, I'm not talking about CI builds, guys. I'm talking about like any random energy shield build. Doesn't have to be low life necessarily. I guess low life will just not exist for mainly that reason, actually. Like maybe you'll reserve some of your life. I don't know. Or maybe you're gonna try to, like, you know, get enough poison res and like maybe 3 charms that remove poisons from you or some bullshit, and maybe you're fine. Maybe this is possible. I mean, charms seem like relatively minor in general, so having like 3 of those just for poisons is probably not such a bad idea. Or maybe like 2 for poison, 1 for stun, or something like that. It's hard to tell if a lot of builds will exist with Spirit thing. Yeah, true, actually. Like, reserving life is probably not really a thing anymore, as I realized. You don't actually reserve your mana, you reserve your life. Well, can you change reserve spirit to reserve life? I wonder if that's the thing, actually. I haven't really like looked into that. Chevron swapping, if it fits, if it's in the game, doesn't bypass energy shield. Yeah, maybe there's chevrons coming back, and then this would allow you to like play these low life builds or something. I mean, there are some keystones, for example, for being low life. I remember seeing one, like Painted Human, I think, is coming back, with like low life shenanigans. Well, there's actually no like, but what about life tap? It supports any skill turning a portion of its mana cost into a life cost. Okay, so this does not work with Spirit specifically, yeah. Yeah, so I guess there is actually no low life, turns out. Yeah, maybe it just doesn't exist. I mean, I don't mind, actually. I played like 1 or 2 low life builds, and I didn't particularly like them too much anyway. Yeah, Painted Human exists, but I mean, you can't really do much of it. And maybe they want you to try to kind of like be like very tanky. Maybe there's like various multipliers where you can get like, you know, maybe damage reduction at low life. Maybe something like, what was that called? Like this damage buffer aura. I used to play with that a bunch of times. I don't remember the name though. Like one of the blood auras in PoE 1. Maybe something like that is coming back, for example. There's a reserved health bar.
So you will need to do a completely hitless
Life reserved. That is a lot of mana and life, by the way. There seems to be like a pretty decked out character here. But there is actually something there. Reserved life. Petrified blood, that's the one I meant. Could be a Sanctum affliction. Could be. Maybe it's like exactly 1/3 or something. Looks like it. Maybe it says something like, you know, 1/3 of your life is reserved. This could actually be something like that, actually. How to say? I guess for now I would just assume that there's no such thing as like life reservation, or at the very least not until way later. So we'll figure it out. Okay. Loyal Hellhound. Okay, we keep that open here. Anyway, I want to go back to... Where is it actually? No. Here. So what does that tell us about our Ignite shenanigans that we're trying to do here? I need like a hard-hitting fire damage ability if I want to do any kind of Ignites that do something. Which means Flame Blast. Should I include a Flame Blast? How long does it need to channel up the Flame Blast? Cast time 0.25. 10 stages. So it means 2.5 seconds you have the maximum. And then kaboom. It sounds pretty reasonable sometimes. Hammer convert to fire. Yeah, that's also pretty good. I guess it will come down to like, you know, how much damage will they allow you to deal with that hammer and then like the ignite scanning off it. It definitely sounds like a pretty good combo. It also sounds like, for example, if you like, for example, convert all of your damage to fire, you can do some big ignites of grenades. If you do like explosive grenade or something. They have like a really high base damage. Okay, 285. Yeah, okay, it's not that crazy as the hammer. What about other grenades? Is there like other grenades that have more? Flash grenade is 142. Gas grenade, no. No. Okay, I was a bit optimistic. I thought it's more. But it's not terrible at least. But you have to go like Avatar Fire or something, I guess. Fire Snipe. Actually, I mean, it is a funny idea. Attack damage is 121. Yeah, okay, it's actually not that much damage. You'll get the guarantee crit and like also crit damage bonus. But I guess if you like try to like average this out of like your, you know, overall damage output, it's probably like something like 400-ish, 500 or whatever. Yeah, hard to say, but definitely not hammer territory. But at least you can kind of do this all the time, right? You can just kind of spam it. Previous song. I'll check it in a second. And you can't actually see the previous song without actually going back and, you know, interrupting this one. Barrage first. Well, if you're trying to make an Ignite build, you don't need to Barrage. But I am very excited to try Snipe Barrage and something like Rain of Arrows Barrage. I think that could be very strong. Definitely tempting. Time to control after highest base damage skill. Yeah, that's the Hammer of the Gods. It's this one. It has 1307. They missed a 3 there. I'm not sure why they didn't do a 3 here, but yeah, it's pretty good skill apparently, but 24 seconds cooldown, by the way. Good luck. Oh man. It is kind of funny. Shouldn't Hammer of the Gods or Chronomancer be the best to reset its cooldown? Yeah, if you want to do one attack per map, then it's pretty good. Just pull the entire map and throw the hammer, I guess. Will I be uploading footage of the other classes too? Unfortunately, I don't have more footage. So I did play like all of the classes a little bit, but I only recorded the Merc and the Monk, unfortunately. Because the other times, like I didn't have my own USB stick when I was there. I was relying on someone else's USB stick. And so I only got those two, unfortunately. Is that a playlist? That is my playlist, Artistic. 1% quality to reach 1337. I wonder what quality does, actually, if they have like all these quality effects that you used to have, or if there's going to be something else that makes, like, you know, quality worthwhile. Quality was kind of interesting. But yeah, I can actually see myself putting in a Flame Blast there. It could be pretty fun too, for like the big booms and then some Ignite. So maybe just throw this in there and see what we can do. Ember Fusilade. Flame Blast. So maybe whenever it is like safe enough to do so, we can do this. You probably want something for CC as well. There's like no CC. And I'm actually not so sure about the Flame Ball. But we'll see. So like Frost Nova. That's Frost Bomb. Frost Wall. Permafrost Bombs. That's Crossbow. Cold Snap. That's the one, I think. No, Shadows are frozen enemy. So first I have to freeze them. Ice Nova. That's the one, I think. Would you like to do something like this and then like weapon swap to like a cold staff? Could be nice. 100% more effect of chill. Like for example, you can walk in, press Ice Nova, start channeling Flame Blast, boom, the entire pack dies. And then whatever lives has like a big ignite on it. Sounds pretty good actually. And then you have Ember Fusilade to also, you know, just like cast something while moving and just like, you know, blast into the packs and stuff like that. What about leveling gems with uncut? Yeah, you will constantly find uncut gems and then constantly level up your skill gems with that. That's the only way to level them actually. Okay, this was the previous, by the way. Song. Four to 6 cold damage knocks enemies back on hit. It seems like a very good defensive tool. Ice Nova. Vicious Kate is now a melee skill. What else do we have for like cold spells? Let me see that a little bit. Cold Snap. We saw that. There's Comet as well. Pretty big dam. Pretty big mana cost. Hits are freezing. I mean, that is kind of nice. But I think it will feel very clunky trying to use this like all the time. I think this is more like a supplementary thing. Like, you know, maybe try to pull them together, throw in the Comet, and then like follow up with some other stuff. But I mean, that's exactly what I'm trying to do as well. But I also move myself. Comet login. It could be really good though. Maybe it's a good combo, just like Comet. You don't have to use it all the time, you know, if like easy stuff you just blast down, maybe it's fine. And I will also have my Hound. The Hound will do something. And tank a little bit as well, so I might not need the CC all that much once I have the Ascendancy at least, if I rely on the Infernal Hound that actually does a little bit of stuff. There's Eye of Winter as well. But that's probably more for like an actual like cold spellcaster, which I'm not planning to do here. Fireball, Flameball, Flammability. Hits against the mark target costs 28% more freeze buildup. That seems so bad, man, for a mark. Cold Nova erupts on the corpse. This Nova does not use weapon damage, instead uses its own base attack damage. Okay, so I guess this might help you to actually like freeze the entire pack or so, but yeah, maybe mark like a small target, try to kill it. Okay. So it has like a dual effect basically. It's good to remember, by the way, Frost Bomb still applies 75% reduced life regen rate. So in case you run into issues with that. I remember in Arc Nemesis League. that was a lifesaver, man. Fucking Frost Bomb. Also sometimes in like Maven encounters, it can be pretty annoying when she keeps healing the boss. Where's the default uninstalling mode? I haven't seen it actually. But you have the, yeah, the fire. Hey Shiva, thanks for the prime by the way. Appreciate that. Am I going Sork? I'm thinking about the Witch right now. So I wonder what I will do here. I'm just looking for like some fun combo. Does anyone know, like, for example, Frost Wall, can you, like, shoot through it? I mean, holds back enemies. Can I cast through it? Can I do, like, a Flame Blast through it? Is it, like, LOS? Does anyone know? You can shatter it yourself. Yeah, but, you know, can I just, for example, do Frost Wall? Can I, like, combine this with Fortress support? How does that work again? Support skills that create walls in a line. I suppose, right? It probably works with Fortress. So can I do Fortress, have an entire wall around myself, and then just cast the Flame Blast and kaboom? That sounds actually like a nice combo as well. You just wall yourself off, and then you cast the the Flame Blast and kaboom. Could be kind of nice. This could be interesting to try. Hex Blast, Ice Nova. Yeah, I played a lot of PoE 1, but most of it, like, you know, something like 6 to 3 years ago. And not so much recently. But I have played like most of the League Stars and stuff at least a little bit. So I've kind of been keeping up. Ice Nova we've seen. Lots of lightning stuff here. Okay, so this is probably about it, yeah. And then a Sigil of Power, but it's like a weapon thing. Kind of tough to use. But maybe a Sigil of Power could be something for later. If you're in like an increased AoE or something, maybe increased duration even. Increased AoE, increased duration on the Sigil of Powder. I mean, it's so much fucking damage. For like the bosses. That's gonna be nuts. This is 56% more. Solar Orb. I guess you can have only one of these orbs or what? Creates a stationary orb that periodically releases an... I mean, it doesn't say you can only have one. I guess you can have multiple. It's basically a volatile dead, but stationary. And not on a corpse, I guess. It kind of looks like it. At least from the... But it pulses, it doesn't like go and like hit enemies, right? Casting a skill again will replace the previous orb. Ah, okay, so there is only one. Yeah. Not sure if I care too much about it, but it does allow you to do like ranged flame blasts. So if that becomes a problem, I guess you want to do this. But realistically, I don't expect that to be a huge problem, because if I want to do ranged combat, I can use Ember Fusillade for that. I don't think I want to use another skill for this. I'm gonna rather try to maybe have some kind of freeze build up, or some kind of stun build up, and then use my Flame Blast in peace, or just use it in between the animations. Okay. Temporal Chains. I think Temp Chain is going to be very powerful. If these numbers are correct, man, Temp Chain seems like such a nutty curse. Just have a Blasphemy, Temp Chains, and you're chilling. This is insane. And it also means that, for example, your Ignite will go longer, right? Actually, it should also reduce the DPS of the Ignite, right? I just realized. So it's actually not useful. Wait, is it? Is it gonna lower the DPS or not? I know there's like, you know, Ignite deals damage faster, and here it says effects expire slower. Does that mean only the duration, or does that also mean the DPS? It's just longer, okay. So that works like in PoE 1 as well, right? It just lasts longer, but it does the same. Okay, then this is fine actually. This is very good for stuff like this. I think it's gonna be very good for poison builds and stuff. Just Temp Chains. Even non-poison builds, man. I think Temp Chains is gonna be very powerful. Like all these like exposure or like pen curses don't really seem that useful. Maybe you're gonna have them like situationally when you realize there's like a resistant monster type or something like that, or maybe sometimes there's like a map mod, and you just swap the curse in and that's it. And then you like have your fire resistance curse. But since you can't go in negative anymore, it seems like these offensive curses are not that good anymore. Tempt Chain, Enfeeble, Blasphemy. Yeah, exactly. You can also just take the Keystone and you have 2 curses, right? Without even having the downside. Like, Enfeeble also seems nuts, man. Yeah, this is it actually for the spells, so there's not really that much here. At least that we have here. Maybe there's like more skills that we have not seen. How about the gas grenade? It is there actually. But there's like at least some support gems that we haven't seen yet. Like I think I saw like in Syncadi's mercenary video, there was like some stuff that I hadn't actually at least remembered. More effect of chill. I guess this should also contribute to more freeze buildup, right? Casting Ice Nova targeting near Frostbolt projectile will cause it to originate from the Frostbolt instead of you and cause more build freeze up. Is that the line about the more effect of chill? Increased freeze duration. Let's see. Cast on freeze. Frostfire. 100% more effective ignite against frozen enemies. Now that could actually be interesting, man. I just realized, you know, walk in, you do like Ice Nova, everything is frozen, and then you like Flame Blast. That sounds kind of nutty, actually. I wonder if Brittle still does the same here. That also seems very good. Supported skills consume enemy freeze to guarantee a critical hit. Cannot support skills that consume freeze. And that's interesting. So the skill itself doesn't consume freeze, but it can have 2 supports that consume freeze. So I wonder if both of them function. But if you get a guaranteed crit and a guaranteed 100% extra ignite, it sounds kind of nutty actually. Or maybe, worst case, leave out the Frostfire and just go for the Biting Frost and get a guaranteed crit on Flame Blast. That seems actually really good. If you get like a reliable way of freezing. There was a consumption order in PoE 1. We can try it at least. But I like this. Like, if you get like a full Flame Blast off in the right moment of a guaranteed crit, oh man. Maybe I should try to invest more into this free stuff and do this. It seems like a very fun combo, actually. Yeah, like this for like the general blasting, and then, you know, just like chip damage. And then whenever I get a big combo off, like maybe actually like, you know, fuck the Ice Nova, we just go Comet anyway. We do a Comet. It has a guaranteed freeze. It's a lot of fucking mana, man. But then we also don't have to spam the Ice Nova very much. We let him walk in, we do this, everything is frozen, kapow. And then you follow up with the Ember Fusillade to just kind of clean up all the small stuff because it targets stuff anyway. Trigger Comet with freeze. Yeah, I need to get some freeze in the first place though. If anything with the Ignite. This is maybe what I can do. We trigger Comet with Ignite. I have casted Ignite here. How does it work again? Increased energy generated. Gains 20 energy when you ignite an enemy. has 10 maximum energy per 0.13 seconds of base cast time of socketed spells. So if you look at commit, cast time is 1 second. And then it says plus 1 second to total cast time, but I think the blue line should not affect the cast on Ignite, right? So I imagine this is the base cast time. So the base cast time should be just the top, right? The 1.0. Plus mana. Yeah, I imagine triggered skills still cost mana, right? If you want, they do. I imagine it's the same here, so you need the mana. There's a lot of mana, man. So I think there's no Defiance banner here. First of all, let's get back to this. We're gonna throw in, like, let's say, Clarity here at the very least. And then we can, like, do other stuff. There's actually, like, what was that again? Minion death. There's like gain mana on minion death. Supported skills remove 20% of your maximum life from a nearby minion on use to deal 20% more damage. Yeah, but this can also hit my hound if I have it, which sounds kind of bad. Gains energy when your minions die based on the defense power of the minion, triggers all staggered spells, and loses all energy on reaching maximum energy. Maybe Castle Minion Death is actually even better if you do like this Raging Spirit shenanigans. But they only last 4 seconds. Limit is 10 summon Raging Spirits. Fire area spells summon a spirit per 1.5 meters of radius. Wait, does it work only for fire area skills? Projectiles from fire spells summon a spirit on hit. Maximum 5 spirits summoned per spell cast. Okay, so this means if you have like any kind of like extra projectiles, which I guess occasionally we do from the splintering node. What's that again? Here. Fragmentation node. So you can actually get sometimes multiple. And we get like 1 per fusillade. Okay. So you actually get a lot of these. I guess you can fine-tune that a little bit if you have to later. It's not summon anymore. It's fire buff spell now. Yes. It's like a basically an aura, and every time you cast fire skills, you get Raging Spirits. I have no idea what's the base damage or something, but we watched like some footage earlier, and it kind of looked like they were at least contributing. So, and I'm trying to find this support gem. There's like a support gem where when your minions die, you gain mana. Gain mana. Shit. Let's see. Here, Essence Harvest, that's the one. Recover 50 mana when a minion from supporter skills dies. Now, I think someone said this last time that Raging Spirits do count as dying. And then we could do stuff like minion death support if we have to. But at the very least we can do this here. Essence Harvest. And this would kind of like solve most of the mana struggle that we have, I think. If that works. They count as dying sometimes. what means sometimes? But yeah, I think this is like a huge like mana battery. I was actually thinking about doing like an Archmage build where I do like giga mana stacking with all of the shenanigans, the keystone and whatever. And then instead of like just using lightning skills, actually just use the fire skill, but then giga scale it with Archmage for lightning damage, and then summon the Raging Spirits and get the mana here. Because I think a lot of people underestimate how hard it will be to get mana with all of these like mana stacking shenanigans. I've not really seen anything that really gives you a lot of mana. Besides this, basically. Basically, all the abuse cases were fixed, but sometimes it works. Nah, cool. I mean, we have clarity and we have this, so I guess we'll just have to see how it feels. How often do we actually proc this combat? How much mana do we have? It's really hard to predict. But at least we have tools. Maybe we don't need both. Maybe we can drop out the clarity even or something. Yeah, mana regeneration is much better now, but you know, on Archmage, you actually like spend a lot of mana, right? Then is the mana actually always scaling with your total mana pool? Why only 7 skills? Well, if you count very closely, it's actually 6 right now. But there's 3 more slots that we're gonna fill. I think I'm gonna drop Flame Wall though. Okay, let's see what you can find for like free stuff. There's Deep Freeze. 30% increased freeze duration on enemies. So maybe don't do this as well. We do Deep Freeze. Let's see what else is there. Maybe Chill. Does that matter? More freeze build-up against chilled enemies. So I guess if the skill doesn't say that it chills, will it apply chill? I guess it will, right? So let's say a boss. Will the boss be chilled even if it's not frozen? How does that work now? Back to the wiki. It sounds like it, right? You will probably apply chill before you apply the freeze, I imagine. But there's no mention here. So I'm not 100% sure. Yeah, if it does cold damage, I guess it should have some chill, and then you have faster freeze. So this means you should probably actually really freeze those bosses a lot. I kind of like the idea. We can try this. Which was not glaciation. Glaciation. Okay, what else do we got? Actually, inspiration. I think this is an inspiration angle if you ask me. 120 multi, 120 multi, 92 base mana cost at level 9. I think this is absolutely an inspiration angle. 70 mana per second doesn't seem so bad. 6 mana, okay, this seems fine. But it's like loadable, so I have no idea how this will be later. You don't have time to chill, need to blast. Chilling is just a trap. We'll see. I mean, it seems like I will have pretty good boss damage if I do something like Flame Blast. Like, if I actually freeze the boss fairly often and then just stand there and do like big Flame Blasts that also have like the, you know, the guaranteed crit and then get a big ignite, and you know, it sounds pretty decent. And then this is just for blasting, you know, if I actually have the damage to like blast through everything and do this. Wasn't there like this thing with explosions as well? Explode. A fiery death. Killing blow from supported skills against ignited enemies have 6% chance to cause the enemy to explode. No idea how good this is gonna be. Maybe I would even put this on Flame Blast, but Flame Blast is probably like my big actual like boss burst, I think. And I would probably try to make Ember Fusillade more my like, you know, blast through packs kind of skill. And then maybe sometimes include a Flame Blast as well as like an extra burst against like rares and big packs. No Sigil of Power. Not yet, at least. Sigil of Power is not a skill gem. You have to use the specific stuff for it. So I wouldn't really rely on this right just yet, and it's also not like a, let's say, build-defining feature. So... Fiery Death, same as Witch Hunter, Explodey, Copium. That seems very Copium to me. 60% chance. Ascendancy, 10% chance. Okay. Yeah, no idea. It could be that it just like replicates the hit that he did. You know, it's just like, even that would be pretty powerful, I guess. 60% chance to replicate the hit. Sounds kind of nutty as well. Yeah, we'll have to see, I guess. We could throw in a Fiery Death. The thing is, we would have to do 2 casts at once in order to do this, right? Because we usually won't have Ignite running on the enemy. And the Flame Blast is kind of intended just to one-shot everything. So I guess we have to see. Support skills fire 2 additional projectiles, also fire projectiles for up to 4 points on each side of you, and 20% less projectile damage. I think you might want to include a volley here. And multiple projectiles also has a downside of cast speed, right? On top of everything else. So let's do a volley. I think this could be nice. So we're gonna get a lot of hits. And maybe I'll still do the fireball, we'll see. There's actually just like free real estate here. No cost multiplier. I wonder if this is true. If there's really support skills without cost multiplier. Dealing 7% of the life as fire damage to surrounding enemies. Let's do that. And there was like another thing with like, they die faster and stuff. Minions are aggressive. I guess you want to do this. Yeah, take 20% of the maximum life as fire damage per second. Deal 5% of the maximum life as fire damage per second to nearby enemies. That actually just seems way better than minion instability, which is 7% on the explosion. Maybe actually I'll just remove that. Maybe there's something else. Thanks, Axie. I do play complex games like PoE, just not so much recently. But I did for like around 4,000 hours, and I've probably made like, you know, 100 plus pretty detailed POBs in the past. Maybe 200. I don't know. I really enjoyed just like sitting in PoB all day long, making builds, and sometimes playing them. Many years ago. This is actually kind of nice as well. Inevitable critical. It actually has a weird line as well. This critical strike chance is lost whenever a skill supported by inevitable critically strikes. Man, you can't have 2 supports anymore of the same kind, so at least this line is like a bit outdated. But we already have the guaranteed crit here, but only if you consume a freeze. And maybe this will happen less often than I think. And maybe we just don't want to consume the freeze necessarily either. So maybe we want to do inevitable. And we can maybe ramp up a bit more increase crit and stuff. This is already 8 base crit, so let's see. PoE is just a test for the PoB, exactly. That's also kind of how I play the game. I made a lot of builds, lots of cool ideas, but yeah, so many things that just like, take so much time to actually like, you know, grind it up and all that. Usually I focus on, you know, something like 3, 4, 5 builds in the league or something. And, you know, I would make like, you know, 10 or 20 different builds in my PoB, and I just never got to play them all basically. And then the next league came around and there was new stuff, and, you know, I did the same again. So alright, we also can add something like an added fire here, I guess. 75% of fire is extra. 50% less cold and lightning, that's fine. Yeah, what about we add like... I mean, this is like big cold damage, right? Now the big problem I have with this here is that it's triggered, which means it will trigger when I use my big fire stuff, which means I can't really do like a swap to another stuff to get my comet. So let's just hope this is enough. But... yeah, I guess I need to get something like added cold. Let's just add added cold, I guess. Unless you have like a lot of added flat fire from somewhere, then I can't do this, but let's just throw this in there. Good with extra damage. Let's see, there's area of effect as well, which might be useful for Flame Blast or for Comet, both of them. 30% more freeze build-up, 30% freeze duration, inspiration. Maybe you get away without inspiration. We'll see. So I guess do area of effect here. I'd like to see. I'd like to have like a more like better overview of all the supports. I mean, it's nice to see the tooltips, but I'd actually prefer if we like just see more skills at the same time. There's also concentrate effect. That's 50% less area of effect, man. Ooh, it's rough. 40% more spell damage with hits. Never deal critical strikes. Doesn't sound so bad, actually. What is the name again? Controls. I'm not sure if I'm really gonna go for like a lot of crit. I think in general, building a lot of crit chance is very tough compared to PoE 1. I think these expectations of just like having 100% crit and like 400, 500, 600 multi is just not happening. I don't see how. How many meta gems are there in each class? All the gems are universal. Besides, you know, there's certain skills that come from Ascendancies. Those are not universal, but everything else is universal. All the weapons, all the skills, all the supports. Anyone has everything. There's more skill effect duration, but I don't think we'll need that. I just also realize if you have the Hound, we want to reserve some of those Hound mods, I guess, or like some minion mods for the Hound. The mana flare consumes your mana to deal fire damage, cannot support the skills of minions. I mean, this thing tells us nothing, man. How much damage, how much mana? What does a mana flare do? Is it like an AoE? Is it like a single target? Who knows, dude? I guess if you have too much mana, you just throw it in there or something. You can't use added spell damage on spells? Wait, is that only for attacks? Oh shit, you're right. It's only for attacks. I didn't realize. Okay, so they changed this. Good to know. Thank you. Is there a limit of the PoE key? Will I be able to buy it after the payout? I think you can just buy as many as you want until the early access is over. Corpse conservation, corrosion, critical damage, 50% increased critical damage bonus, 20% less damage with hits. I mean, if you do like this strat where you like freeze them and then consume the freeze for the guaranteed crit, then this could actually be pretty nuts, actually. So this might be something to go into later, when I feel like I actually have like a consistency in my combo, you know? You don't even need to build crit chance. Like, unless you put controlled destruction where I can't crit on my Ember Fusillade, and I don't build any increased crit chance, you just build like crit damage a little bit, and then you have like the freeze on the comet, which is guaranteed, and then you do the Flame Blast, guaranteed crit to consume the freeze, and go kaboom. That sounds pretty nuts, actually. There's elemental focus, but it has no numbers or anything like that, so I'm not sure if that's actually real still. This might be like outdated. I'm not gonna put that. Enduring mana. Enemies killed by hits on supported skills grant 25% more mana flash charges. Wow. That seems... I don't know, man. Oof. Frostfire for big Flame Blast nuke. Yeah, I'm not sure if you can just like, you know, use some obscure unique that just like freezes stuff for you. I don't think it'll be that easy. Maybe there's something, but I wouldn't like rely on it, especially like, you know, for the start. You're not gonna get any of those uniques that you want or something, especially if they're good and useful. It's gonna be a lot of trash uniques as well, I imagine. %100% increased ignite duration on enemies, 25% less chance to ignite. That is actually kind of legit as well, I just realized, for like the Hammer of the Gods build that we talked about. If you actually get like a guaranteed ignite anyway, and then it's just have 100% duration, then it actually doesn't matter so much that you have like a long cooldown. Exploit weakness. Support strikes that perform a final strike at the end of a combination of attacks. Okay, this is only for this. Fast attacks, faster projectiles. Fiery Death. Fire Pen. It might be worth throwing this in there in one of my 2 skills, I think. To actually deal with like resistant monsters a little bit more easily. But I'm not sure like how much resistances we're talking. Maybe even on the Flame Blast, because that's what I'm planning to use against bosses, which are probably more often like resistant, I imagine. $25% more damage plus 8 seconds to cooldown. Oof. Hypothermia, making it more effective at freezing chilled enemies. Don't we already have that? Maybe it's also like outdated and this is actually like the other one now. Ignite proliferation, ignition. I might throw this in if I care about the ignite very much and don't get it often enough. Maybe I actually gonna do something like the Flame Wall with more duration and stuff like that. Flame Wall, Fortress, more duration. It might be worth just like throwing this in, or like a Firestorm at least. Maybe I'm more of like a, you know, direct hit damage set up, and we do like more duration there. That also works, I guess. Just do like a Firestorm and then Ember Fusilade. That'd be nice. Multiple traps. 4 days left to log in. Or the attempt of logging in, at least. Forget planning. I'm a Giga Chat starter gear until maps. Yeah, good luck. Actually, there's not that many supports that I really care about here. A lot of stuff is actually attack based, I just realized. I feel like there's less supports for casters. Is it just me? Like, I need to go more utility stuff. Reports any skill that hits enemies, causing inflicted ignites to deal more damage, but its hits to deal less damage. Okay. So it's basically deadly ailments. But you don't know the numbers. I wonder if it would be worth to actually just throw in a random, like, shock kind of ability as well. This might actually be worth it. Just like, you know, do like some good lightning skill, and then it just like shocks the enemy and they get like, you know, is it 30%? I might actually do this, like an Orb of Storms or something. Spell Echo. Support spells that affect an area around you or a target location. We could do Firestorm, Spell Echo, and Increased Limit. That is a pretty nice combo. Oh, there's Unleash actually, I forgot about that. I love Unleash. I'm a really big fan of Unleash actually. Gain a seal every 200% of cast time after a maximum of 2 seals. Supported spells are unsealed, and their effect will occur for each seal loss. Deal 50% less damage when reoccurring. I might actually throw this into Ember Fusillade. I really like that. On the other hand, we kind of want to spam it, you know, like 10 times and then release it. But it will actually allow you to like, get there faster, basically. So instead of 10 casts, you actually just do like 7 or 6 or something. Which actually sounds pretty nice. And then, okay, like some of them will deal a bit less damage. But you'll get to like the maximum faster, and like getting the maximum is actually pretty valuable. Because they deal more damage per extra Fusillade. I really like the idea. 3% more cast speed, 10% less damage. So there needs to be like some more utility stuff here. Shocking hits on a supported skill have a 50% chance to also shock enemies in a 2.5 meter radius. Okay. 20% chance to fire 8 additional projectiles in a circle. Wild charts. That is like 1.6 average more projectiles with no downside outside of being in a circle. Which sounds kind of shit. And I kind of doubt that the embers will actually then seek out enemies. Is there a limited number of skill rows? Yeah, usually you have like, you know, left click, right click, they're always fixed, and then you have like the bottom row with like 4 or 5 skills, and then you have like the second row on the bottom row, basically. I think that's how it's working. Did you get a Diablo cookbook? I have no idea what kind of cookbook you guys are talking about. But some people have been mentioning that today. I'm theoretically for an Infernalist caster setup. Item curse. Maybe I'm gonna do manual cursing actually. It might not really be necessary most of the time. And you just cast it sometimes instead of like trying to do blasphemy stuff. Chaos damage over time inflicted by supported spells also hinders enemies. That is kinda nice. I wonder if the hinder also counts as slow, and then you can do encumbrance support to slow even more. That would be pretty good. And just like kind of like, I don't know, maybe there's like some way to just have like some kind of low damage chaos skill that you just throw in there. Just to like apply a bunch of stuff like this. Could be kinda good. Support skills that leap into the air, causing you to create consecrated ground when you land. I could actually use that on combat, right? think. Which sounds kind of fun. I thought it's a meme at first. What is this? 3 days ago. Oh my god. Oh shit. Okay. Dark delicacies. I know that there was something like this, but I didn't realize they made like a video over this. Okay, it's just like them making a meal. And that's basically it. Okay. Oh my god, dude. Oof. This is Frosty's news video. Holy dude. Yeah, this is not the time, man. This is not the time. Okay. There's murder being committed in the comments. Board meeting. How will we prevent players jumping ship to PoE 2? What about a cookbook promoted? Oh man. They heard we were starving for content. Let the memes begin. Shit, dude. I think they should just like not post anything, man. Until they actually have like some big stuff to show or something, you know? I don't know what that could be. But yeah. They need to come out with something really cool at the very least. At some point, and pronto, you know? It's the main channel, yeah. I don't get why they have a cooking channel. Yeah. Oh, by the way, here's Paladin for Season 8. Well, I mean, the thing is that by Season 8 announcement, half of Exile probably has a working Paladin already in their early access. You know? Like, I don't see any world where GGG is not gonna announce a Paladin Ascendancy for Templar. This is just gonna be like such an in-your-face, you know? They're gonna do that, 100%. There is gonna be a Paladin, no? Yeah. Like, they already have the setup for it, you know? They have the Templar, you know, the synergy, the holy stuff, everything. So, there is gonna be a fucking Paladin. Like, there's no way there's no Paladin. Oof, dude. I mean, we already have the Javazon, you know? I'm not talking about Blizzard with the Paladin. I'm talking about PoE, you know, announcing their Paladin and putting it into early access before Default gets its Paladin in the next expansion. I think there's like a 99% chance that Diablo 4 is gonna get in the Paladin. But PoE will be first. So yeah. Well, we fun to see. Hi, Henry. Who gets the better Paladin? Well, let's find out in the next episode. Does anyone have any idea what his days actually? Is that mentioned here? I don't see any confirmation about what it actually does. New status, no one knows. Yeah, cool. I guess we'll find out at some point. Do I want to do something like this here? Support skills cannot ignite. Support attack skin. Oh wait, it's only for attacks. Never mind. I actually need to remember, like, so many support gems do not work for spells anymore. Kind of interesting, actually. Last one to them was the fire skills, so they can just throw this in there as the last one or something. I wonder if you can use attack. We probably can't, right? We can't use attack supports to like throw into minions, for example. We probably need like dedicated minion supports or like generic supports. Barrier invocation. Gain energy when your energy shield is damaged by hits. Casting again once sufficient energy is gathered will consume the energy to trigger targeted spells. Gain 1 energy for each 5 energy lost to damage taken. Maximum energy is 500. This actually sounds relatively nice. But it costs 60 spirit. Oh my god. Maybe not. Yeah, I mean, I have a lot of empty spells here right now, to be honest. So, what do? So you might actually include something like, maybe some more spammable thing, or maybe a totem, or, you know, you have like the pet there, like the hound, I guess. So we do this, and maybe like other minion stuff for the hound. And then we do like I guess we want to do the Firestorm, maybe? Firestorm. We want to do Unleash. We want to do Duration. Limit. Spell an Echo. And we wanted to do... Dude, I have like so few supports on my setup, man. Look at this shit. It's crazy. How does that with the support requirements work, actually? It says +5 int. So that just goes like on the base requirement of the skill. So if it's like a blue gem, for example, and it has, let's say, 150 int requirement at level 20, and then it's just like 150 int and 5 strength, if I have like an inspiration. Is that how it is, or what? And then with a blue gem, it's like 155, 160. Is that how it works? Elemental invocations can be homemade Var skill. I need to see that one again, actually. While active, invocation gains energy when you freeze, shock, or ignite an enemy. Using invocation, once sufficient energy is gathered to consume the energy to trigger socketed spells and trigger multiple times if it has enough. Gain 125 energy when you freeze an enemy, ignite and shock. Maximum is 500. Seems relatively good, actually. Wait, how does it differ from the... Ah, that's actually just a better version of the, like, energy shield thing, I guess. As long as you have, like, you know, a bunch of elements. Actually, it sounds pretty nice. I'm not sure how much spirit I can get, though. We have cast and ignite already. Trigger 5 times arc with 1 button press. It sounds kind of fun, actually. I need to find a skill that I want to use here to actually do a lot of shocks. Thoughts on casting crit builds or PoE too? Triggering spells and shit. Yeah, all this, like, you know, automated and triggered stuff and so on. I could imagine we could get there eventually in the late game where at least like a good portion of your overall output comes from triggers. But I don't see like full on like trigger builds working, at least until very late. New Stormweaver for Ascendancies, like all damage can shock and all damage can freeze. These are definitely pretty powerful. But I specifically wanted to go Infernalist. But Stormweaver has its merits. This is number 3. Yeah, the problem is it's like 4 nodes basically. Targets affected by a shock can be affected by 2 shocks, so 50% less shock duration. Yeah, okay. All damage when it's contributes to shock chance. It's kind of cool, and I guess the same here with Chill probably. Sounds pretty fun too. But I wanted to try some Infernal stuff. Infernal Hound. That's probably this one here. Fish Code Destruction, Volley. We don't have any extra damage so far. It's kind of funny actually. Okay, this one here, I guess. Control Destruction. Do we want to do like a less duration on this? It does allow us to just, you know, get him out faster, I guess. When we cast and then shoots, when we cast and then shoots. It's gonna make the delay something like roughly a second after the cast initiates. Which is not too bad. What do we have for lightning spells? Let's look at lightning spells a little bit. Maybe I have something that's actually really good for shocking. For example, this one has chance to shock. We can just maybe do a bit of arc. Maybe just have a firewall anyway. Put it there, shoot some arcs, get some shock. Just kind of combine the different things. 50% more damage for each remaining chain. Gain 5% of damage as lightning damage for each 100 max mana you have. So if you have 2000 mana, you get 100% extra damage. Ugh. But you also consume a gigantic amount of mana, basically. So I'm not so sure. Ball Lightning, 750% more chance to shock. You can do something like Ball Lightning, Slow Projectiles, Wild Shards, and some shock shenanigans, and just kind of throw in a Ball Lightning, and then do all of our other stuff. Where's Orb of Storms? Fires generating bolts at nearby enemies, chains 3 times, 5 to 15 damage. How does shock work? Does shock still have like, you know, magnitude depending on the damage done? Or is it just like this target is now shocked? I guess shock has its own number, right? It's just like a certain number. Let's see what other skills we can go for. What was that here on the ball lightning? 1 to 19. It's enemies in range every 0.2. 750% more chance to shock. There's a lot of shocks. It seems. So I think you can relatively reliably shock stuff just by just throwing in a ball lightning. Maybe I'll just put Unleash on the ball lightning, for example. Because I'm not planning to use it that often. And just sometimes cast it like, you know, every few seconds, just throw in a ball lightning. Would be nice as well. And then otherwise like spam the Ember Fusillade. We'll see. Spawn, Frost Wall, Frost... Okay. Maybe it's fine to not fill out all of the 9 sim slots, actually. Maybe I just don't have that many. You could still Leap Slam or Shield Charge on the offhand if you want. Lightning Conduit. Calls down lightning to strike all enemies in a cone. Do significantly more damage to shocked enemies but removes shock from them. Lightning Storm. 25% chance to shock enemies. Hits one target every 0.05 seconds. Shocks enemies as though dealing 400% more damage. This could also be a way to do it. Problem is I don't have any supports for this anymore. We already have, you know, limit and like moderation and everything spent on other stuff. So I have, I don't know, maybe Lightning Storm, but... So you walk in, we do like Lightning Storm, Firestorm, spam Fusillade, wait for the comment to proc, follow up with the Flame Blast. It sounds pretty cool, to be honest. Shock. What do we have there? Shock chance. What was that? Shock duration. Recover 2% of energy shield when a support skill. Okay, shock proliferation. Probably won't need it. Cast on shock. 50% increased effect of shocks and 50% less shock duration. That sounds kind of nice. And maybe it's fine. 100% increased chance to shock. So there's actually like flat shock chance and then 100% increased. Oh, Lightning Storm is that Druid? Okay, if it's Druid, then we can't do that. But I guess we could still do the same thing with like Ball Lightning if we have to, for example. All these things. It's just like shock stuff that I'm going for right now. But yeah, if Lightning Storm is not in, then F, I guess, and we can do that later. We generate 2 mana per second for 4 seconds when a supporter skill shocks an enemy. This may be a nice too. Innovation. Yeah, maybe this doesn't exist. Ascendancies are not refundable. Oh shit, it removed everything. Oh fuck, okay. So maybe ball lightning. But maybe we should double check if there's like more lightning morb. What a user skill, I think. Mana, Tempest, Pain of Ring, Off of Storms. Yeah. Spark. Okay, so that's basically it. Alright, so... Ball lightning, I guess. Let me do all the shock stuff again. I guess you might start with innovation, even. I wonder if this actually still exists, like a white gem there, so this might be like outdated and stuff, but I guess we'll see. Basically just everything that says shock. And then maybe slower projectiles. Or they even do like slow projectiles earlier. There's some less projectile speed. So I get more shocks. Wasn't there more stuff? Lasting shock. And then was it like overcharge or what was that? Shock siphon. 50% increased effect and then 50% restoration. So he actually have a 6-sync, funny enough. For the other stuff, I cannot really find that many things that I want to 6-sync necessarily. We'll see. Poison tooltip, no one moused over ignite.
Poison being...
Let's see. Poison is an ailment that deals damage over time and lasts 2 seconds by default. Poison inflicted by hits deals damage per second equal to 25% of the final physical and chaos damage dealt. Okay, I heard about this already, so these numbers seem fine. Yeah, I know the idea about the ignite stuff. For now, we just assume that it, you know, just kind of scales with the damage in some way, and the exact number is like unknown. I think like in general, like the exact numbers don't mean that much because they're most likely going to change very easily and very quickly. But yeah, we'll see, I suppose. I have checked out elemental invocation. Yeah, I might go the elemental invocation route if the cast on ignite is not working out the way I hope. Or maybe just do it anyway, elemental invocation. When you freeze, when you ignite, when you shock an enemy. Target spells consume 100 energy per 0.11 seconds of base cast time when triggered. So this means I need 1 shock or 1 ignite or 1 freeze, and I can already trigger my comet. It actually sounds pretty busted. Like there's no way it's gonna go live like this. What? So I can basically just like trigger my comet all the time by itself, right? Is that energy shared or per spell? The energy is shared. So there's like one pool of energy basically. The way I understand this at least. There's one pool of energy and you fill it up. And then you have 500. And then it just triggers everything when you press the button. It can trigger them multiple times if it has enough energy. So it can actually do like, you know, multiple comets like... I'm pretty sure this doesn't have those numbers anymore. This seems completely broken. Yo, thanks for the prime, by the way. I have Rai apart. Except for Merc now, we're doing a Witch right now. As a wudijo, do you feel pressure to be an expert at the game on day 1? I don't feel very pressured, I'd say. I just try to be that. You know, it's just kind of what I enjoy, you know. I like to kind of crack the game, you know, make cool builds, and, you know, understand everything, and you know, get to the end game, try speed running, and so on, right? That's just like what I do, and I enjoy it. So I don't really feel like I'm pressured to do that or something. It's just natural. You can have exclamation mark build for the Merc build if you want, but it's not more than just the skills basically, and they're also subject to change, so we'll see. Yeah, elemental invocation seems kind of busted, if you ask me. I'm pretty sure this is not gonna work that way, man, but we'll see, I guess. Moderation, spell echo, increased damage. Firestone doesn't have numbers here, so who knows. And I still have like so many open slots, man. I guess it'll be like a lot of like figuring out stuff as we go and experimenting as well. Meat shields. 10% chance to taunt on hit are defensive. So let's use our doggy to be meat shield. 10% chance to taunt on one enemy sounds kind of shit actually, if you ask me. And mental res. There's not really much more like minion stuff I feel that I want to go for. Minion Pact, Infernal Legion. Feeding Frenzy makes them aggressive. You can have them defensive and aggressive at the same time. I wonder if they're mutually exclusive. Clarity, Essence Harvest, Feeding Frenzy, Infernal Legion. Huh. Like I only have 3 supports right now, but I actually should be like more. Maybe there's like more that are not showing up that I could use for this. Let's try any skill. How about that? Ah shit, there's like any skill that does that, any skill that does that. Shit. So that doesn't really help us. Hi, wunderbar. Does the Helland reserve spirit? That's a good question. If it does, we have a bit of a problem, and it probably does actually. I have no idea how much spirit I can expect to have in late game. So you have the raging spirits, they cost 30, and then a bunch of multipliers, but not too much, so it's gonna be quite little. But yeah, cast on ignite or the elemental invocation could be kind of broken. And might cost a lot. Maybe they like change the numbers at least, elemental invocation. It just seems like a better way of doing this actually. You just always cast the meteor whenever you want, kind of. Oh my god. Fucking hell, replace everything. I can't do... Okay. So let's do freeze. Freeze duration. What else do we have there? More freeze build up. I'm not sure what else I had. There was like something else, I think. I don't remember right now. Yeah, I guess we'll see. Yeah. Maybe just throw in an inspiration there now and that's it. So I think we had this. It's 30 spirit per act for 180. Scepter is 100 to 200 and Amulet is like 30. Yeah, we don't really want to go for Scepter though. But if you have like 180 baseline, and maybe a bit more, like 200-ish, then you kind of get away with it, I think. So maybe the Hound is like 60, and this is like 60, and this is like 30. So yeah, we kind of get there, I guess, with like 200-ish Spirit, even with a bit of extra cost. So we'll see. Click the copy share link to back up the selection. I think the site always saves like everything as cookies anyway. Because whenever I come back to the site, it just has like, you know, all the old stuff. It's just, you know, very not user-friendly currently. Like, I just tried to replace the active skill gem, but it actually also killed all of the supports that went with it. It's good to know. So now I can actually be prepared to just add the same 6 gems again, for example. But yeah, you have to be mindful of that. Okay, we'll see. Maybe I'll remember what it was. There was like a 6 gem, but okay. I still don't know what to do here, so there is still 3 more empty slots. It's crazy, actually. Maybe I was gonna throw in like a Leap Slam, just because, on like a weapon swap. We could also do weapon swap, for example, for stuff like ball lighting to get the bigger shocks or so, but do we really want? Do we really care? Probably not enough, because I'm just not planning to play that, to press this that often. And all these are fire skills, so you're gonna go all in on the fire stuff anyway. Defensive. There's not really like defensive skills there. Is there like guard skills? I haven't really seen much. We have Demon Form on top of Hellhound. That's 2 more skill slots. Yeah, but those skills don't go into these 9 slots. I think they're extra. Like the stuff you get from the Ascendancies, I think they're all extra. But yeah, maybe I just won't use all of the slots, and that's okay. I think defensive auras also don't exist. And there's also no guard skills that I know. I think all the stuff just does not exist. How do you build defensive? Yeah, exactly, you don't. You get good and that's it, man. And CC, I mean, CC is going to be very effective to survive. You know, like the freezing and so on. I mean, you could do some stuff like freezing mark if you want. But do I really want to like do that? Instead of like another offensive skill? I guess you could, on like at least a boss or something, you could like a few more of those like support tools. Maybe it's fine to just have some skills that are not like even 5 or 6 linked, you know? Just go like a 3 link something and a 4 link something, and this is like just it. And maybe that's just okay. Or maybe there's just gonna be more supports later that, you know, will actually help us and so on, but it seems kind of weird that not even my main skill is 6 linked currently. So that's definitely a weird moment, I gotta say. Check again what is here, because I missed something. We can do like throw in something like an Arcane Surge, but it only triggers after you spend 100% of your maximum mana on supported skills in the last 8 seconds. So how much am I supposed to do that on like any of my skills? Even on main skill, I probably won't do this like very often. So it seems kind of yikes. But if it doesn't have any cost, then I guess just throw it in there as like an extra. I don't know. You could even do it on the comet. Arcane Search. Do we have area of effect already? Okay, check here actually. Don't think so. Area of... Oh, wait, I got a flame blast, okay. I guess we're gonna add like some ignite stuff then. Ignite. Proliferation. Ignite spread to other... I think it's actually wildfire support now, right? Cast and ignite, immolate. Increase ignite duration on enemies. Sounds kind of juicy actually. 25 less chance to ignite. Maybe this. 5% more. Maybe. Supports any skill that hits enemies, causing them blind on hit. Could put us in as well somewhere. Because why not? Just put it into the 15% chance to blind enemies on hit. Wait, this is a different number than PoE 2dB. Interesting. But Firestorm hits very fast, so I guess it could be nice. Blind is okay, I guess. Just like it's like less accuracy for the enemy, so you evade more. Which I guess won't really matter too much as a witch, but we'll see how we build our defenses. Maybe you're gonna throw in like a fire pen on one of these, just to have it. So we do that, so you can actually deal with like fire resistant guys a little bit. Maybe even throw in like a vitality here. That's when you cost multiplier. You could also do it here, right? Might be nice to have the life region. We'll see if you can support that. Let's close a view of these things here. And what is a good build if you're just starting? Well, everyone is just starting and no one knows. So good luck. Use elemental invocation and castle shock. Does the energy from castle shock deplete? I don't think so. You probably get like a buff or something on your bar or maybe on the skill that shows you like how much energy you have stored, and that's probably specific to that trigger gem, I would expect. I'll be very surprised if it's not. So here faster casting is like a pure upgrade, but in the skills thing it's not. And I have no idea what to believe, but it will feel really good to have at least. So maybe he's gonna throw this in there anyway. Or maybe on Flame Blast, one of the two. So you have to stand still less, might be pretty nice as well. 10 maximum stages. I will see. Maybe one or the other. I guess it's okay to deal with the less damage. Fire Mastery. Maybe he's gonna throw that in. Actually, I wonder, when you have like skills that have multiple tags, like fire and fizz or like something like that, I guess you can actually use multiple of these masteries to get more skill ranks. Do we have a curse right now? Me do not actually. So that's the temporal chains. What do we have for curse? More effect. Causing the cursed enemies more quickly after being cast. That sounds good. So I guess we want to do some stuff here with curses. Because I probably can't fit a blasphemy. It should be nice. If I can fit it, I probably will try. Spreads to enemies within 3 meters when a cursed enemy dies. That's kind of cool. Supported skills inflict decay. Supports curse skills, curse enemies, bodies decay, taking curse damage all time. Oh, wait a minute. So in this case we can do the slow. What is that called? Hinder? Support spells that deal non-ailment chaos damage all time. Hinders and encumbrance. Oh my god, we have a Giga slow actually. So you have like double slow. I like that idea actually. What is the else is there for curse? Not too much anyway. Yeah, I actually really like this. Okay. So our main skill is gonna be Ember Fusillade. Flame Blast is gonna be the big bursts, especially when you have them frozen, for example when using Elemental Invocation with Comet. We have Firestorm that will frequently apply some ignites, hopefully, to get out the Ember Fusillade sometimes, and then that will give us the Elemental Invocation. We do a Ball Lightning sometimes to shock stuff, get throws in there to trigger the Elemental Invocation. So get a lot of comets without having to jump around. You have the Temp Chains to Giga slow stuff. We have the Doggy to tank force. Dude, this sounds really fun. I'm actually very excited for this. I wonder how this will work out. And I think it may not even not fill the last thing. I'll just do like something, you know, later. So we'll see. Rename build. I guess fire. Which Infernalist. Plus, what is the thing called? Infernal Hound. Did it close? So yeah, Infernal Hound does not exist here, so... Does it? No. Doge. I can start seeing stock builders repeating the same patterns. Yeah, I mean, I just looked at like, you know, most of the spell stuff and the supports for them. Yeah, there's just not really, you know, when you have like, you know, 2 or 3 of the same kind of spells, you start running out of supports really, you know. There is actually a lot of like, you know, you do a bit of this, you do a bit of that. It's not just go all in on like only like one skill and just do that. I guess you can do that. You can probably get to the point where you have like, you know, so much extra fire damage on your setup that, you know, one skill for a single target, one skill for AoE, and that's it. But you still want to kind of like throw in some other random stuff, I guess, just to like, you know, squeeze out more support stuff and more, you know, more stuff. So we'll see, I guess, how this will go. What would I use a third arm for if I had one? I would probably buy a second mouse and then have it on the ban button, so whenever someone annoys me in chat. $10 into the game, why won't more gems drop? Yeah. I mean, I think the uncut skill gems, at least, they're gonna be relatively plentiful. About the supports, I guess we'll see. The bigger problem will probably just be like getting the jeweler orbs to make the, you know, more sockets. Like, I don't expect to have like a 5 link anytime soon, you know. or at least not that many 5 links, and then comes a 6 link, which is probably going to be really rare. But on the other hand, I mean, most of the time it doesn't really matter that much if you get like at least a 6 link. I feel like most of the 6 links that I add here on most of these is kind of like minimal impact. And even the 5th one, most of the time is like, yeah, relatively whatever stuff, I guess. Wolfhard FPS, what I'm really talking about is PoE 2 gameplay. You should check it out. Okay, unfortunately I will have to leave very soon now. Let me just double check. Yes, I have to go, guys. I'm sorry. I can't stay too long today. But I'll put this in my Discord here. Copy, share link. And you can also do this here, exclamation mark build. So let's do that. Says reacts tomorrow. Yes. Oh shit, I have to shorten the link actually because it's like a giga long link. How did I do this last time? Tiny URL. Yeah, I can't stay for the interview, guys. I need to go. I have a meeting. Which so those are two things we have cooked so far. For the YouTube vlogs, I'll also link that here. So this is 2 links. It was actually really fun though. It's really cool to explore the options and like see a little bit what's there. I should probably also try to do like a ranger and like a maybe even warrior because I want to try those as well at some point. And then we'll see. Monk is actually something. Maybe I'll go to monk before warrior. It's gonna be very cool, I think. Who interviews whom? Scissoran interviews Jonathan. That's what's gonna happen. I'm not sure when exactly, but sometime tonight, I think. We're gonna check it out tomorrow, I guess. Can't stay, he's off to play PoE2 closed test. Actually, I'm not. I'm not playing the closed test. I mean, that's what I would say at least. So, wait, before I close, I need to put this here in the Discord channel as well. So if you didn't know, we have our Woody Builds channel. So I've been starting to work on this. This is in the PoE2 section here on the Discord, so I can find my links there and stuff. I will keep this like updated in future as well. So if you're not on the Discord. But yeah, that was fun. Thanks for hanging out, guys. Let's raid someone. Also, a special shout out to our latest sponsor, NordVPN, by the way. If you guys are looking for VPN, they have a huge offer right now. 4 months extra for free, 30 days money back guarantee. Just gonna show that real quick, but might be worth checking out if you like want to, you know, improve your internet security, browse from, you know, other locations and so on. They also have a nice browser extension. Alright, who do we rate? Is this live already? I don't see him, so I guess you can rate someone else. You can rate Pox or something. How about that? He's like the RF champion. Everyone always goes to him for the RF questions. Let's do that. Okay, have a good one, guys. I'm back tomorrow.